Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Frost was interviewing Nixon. He made that movie about it.
Oh, yeah?
It was like the big thing for David Frost. He got Nixon to actually break about Watergate, and the way Nixon tried to, throw him before the interview. They're just getting ready and with all the cameras and stuff. He's, "Did you fornicate last night?" David Frost was like, "Why is the president, the former president of the United States?" He was like, "No."
So he tried to rattle him before
Tried to rattle
the
him before the interview. Nixon was so skillful. And "Did you fornicate last night?" What?
Is that skillful, though?
It kind of fucked him up a little bit. He was like,
It seems like a Hail Mary.
yeah, well, it didn't. Yeah, he was at the end of his game.
Did you ever hear the time when Nixon was riding? They got a ride. Hunter S. Thompson took a ride with Nixon, I believe, to the airport in his limo. As long as you don't talk politics. He's like, so they just talked about football the whole way.
Was he president at the time?
Yeah, he was president.
Oh, my God.
And I know. That's how weird the world was back then.
Yeah.
A fucking wackadoo like Hunter Thompson could get in a limousine with the president of the United States. And
Hitch a ride.
well, I think Nixon respected his football knowledge because Hunter was a football fanatic.
Yeah.
And so he said Nixon was the real deal. He said Nixon knew about all these draft picks from colleges and
Jeez.
yeah, he was like following everything.
He was really smart.
Was he?
But just, he was really smart and crafty, but he was, had a lot of fatal flaws. "Did you
Yeah.
fornicate last night?"
He was the oddest dude.
He's such a weird looking dude. Like
Yeah.
no one who's looked like that since,
Mike Dukakis had a little bit of that in him, like a handsomer version of Nixon, just
Yeah.
like thick.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's thick.
Yeah.
Like the skin's thick, the eyebrows
Yeah.
are thick.
Yeah, it's like leathery and always had like a lot of Vaseline or something in the hair.
Yeah. I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook.
And he's just awkward with his movement.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah,
looks like
so
his
weird.
Joints don't work right. Yeah.
A political cartoonist dream,
Oh, yeah, for
right?
sure.
The big
yeah.
nose, the big jutting forehead.
See, there's a problem with political cartoonists today is that they're all liberal, right? And most cartoonists are liberal, and you're going to leave Biden alone, which is very unfortunate. Because it should be indicative of the dilemma that we find ourselves in 2021.
Right. Who's ever the guy is the butt of the joke, or is the focus.
But this is a very unique dilemma because we were willing to overlook like some serious problems with this guy because we hated Trump so much.
Right, exactly. Oh, I know. My nephews are really, really left. They went to like Hampshire College, and they're just like, it couldn't get further over there. And love them all, but they were just super left. And in our family group text, every once in a while, they'll send a thing about Biden going too far with Israel, or like having a bad record at the border, and no one wants to discuss it in the family at all. Because they're so exhausted from Trump all those years.
Yeah.
They're like, we know he's not perfect, but at least he's not that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where the nation is. It's like, I know, but
Some of the
he's
nations
not he's not tormenting us.
Some of the nation's there, but the rest of the nation is like, it's eroding faith in the institution of the news because they're like, how come you fucking guys aren't paying attention to this? How is he allowed to say all this crazy shit?
Well, that's
Like, he's been saying ridiculous shit. Have you paid attention to the gaffes, the things he said?
No.
About what was the one recently about black people and businesses? Because black people can't get loans, and black people. It's like, whoa! It was like such a blanket statement.
Right.
Like he says things sometimes like
come on, man.
what was the statement that poor kids they're just as smart as white kids. Like something along those lines. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
It's
It
like,
was something
hey,
like that.
Grandpa,
Yeah.
the fuck off the microphone.
I know, but at least he's not just tormenting us nonstop. But you're right. I mean, there should be. Look, this is why there's a real problem. Is that there's nobody that just takes the center and just deals with news.
Right.
It's all team-based.
It's also woke talking points that they feed him.
Yeah.
And, you
And then he butchers them.
he butchers them. And you compare it to, like, things that he said in the past. Like, this is not how you really feel about these things.
Yeah. But but it's just the teams. It's the teams.
Yeah.
And
It's tribal.
I know. It's like if you could just break down the teams. That's the most disheartening part of all of it, is just that it's almost like we don't. I was thinking the other day, like when we grew up, we had Russia, and you had Rocky movies, and Reagan was going after him, and and Stallone was going after Drago, whatever his name was. Like, we had this enemy that we all could focus on, and now we have an absence of that, and we're looking at each other as the enemy, which has never happened in our lifetime, ever. It's so horrible that people are from different parts of our country are hating on each other. It's I've never seen it.
Well, it's exacerbated by Trump.
It was.
Even with Obama in office, it was never that bad.
No.
Even the people that were ridiculous with Obama, like, do you remember when, I guess it was Fox News or whatever conservatives, they were furious that Obama had a tan suit on?
Yeah, that was the big controversy. That was the big controversy. That and when he fist bumped his wife.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine those two things being controversial now in the wake of Trump.
I know.
So Trump he exacerbated everything, exaggerated everything. Everything got so, like, over the top that people on the left haven't calmed down yet. You're like, remember when he got out of office? Like, as soon as Biden got in, and they're like, we're going to make a list if anybody supported Trump, and you're never going to work again. You're never going to work again. Your kids are going to starve.
It was PTSD.
Yeah.
It was really like
Yeah.
people are just like, they see his name and you twitch.
Yeah, they go crazy.
But it's like, so what is our new thing to focus? Like, China doesn't seem to do it. Like, that's like the bigger competitor, but they're not like that cartoonish enemy that we had with Stallone's not going to China and taking on that guy. It doesn't have that thing. But you got to temper down New York is not the enemy of Texas. Alabama is not the enemy of California. Like, we're united.
The thing is, like, right now we're in a confused state, like a post-COVID confused state where things aren't totally normal yet.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, hey,
It's weird. It's definitely
what's
weird.
happening? Are we okay?
Yeah, I know.
Not quite yet, right?
Yeah. No, it's really true. It's like this, it's like fits and starts. It's like even when I'm coming here, I was like, oh, this is the land of no masks. And I went into 2 places and was told to put on a mask. And I was like, oh, we're not, okay, so your rules.
Austin, people wear masks.
Yeah.
But when you get outside of Austin, you go to, like, Round Rock, and you go, like, they don't give a fuck. Pflugerville, they
Right.
don't give a fuck.
Oh, the people in Pflugerville.
You go out that way, you go out to, like, Dripping Springs, they don't give a fuck.
Right,
There's
right.
no more COVID for them.
Right.
Yeah. They gave up. But by the way, it was like that like 6 months ago. I'm not kidding.
I believe you.
Yeah.
No, there were a lot of places like that. Like in the limited touring that I was doing, like I went to like Omaha, and I was in Kansas City, and I was coming from the perspective of California, and I'm like, hey, look at us, we're all out. And they were like, yeah, we've been out. They were like,
Florida doesn't give a fuck.
No.
They really don't give a fuck.
no.
We just did we did an arena in Houston for the UFC, and we did an arena in Florida before that. 15,000 people packed, and it felt
Whoa.
crazy. It felt crazy. Like, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
It's really happening. But by the time we did the second one in Houston, it was like, yeah, we're back to arenas.
Oh,
Yay.
okay.
Crowds. Full
Yeah.
crowds for the fights.
That's so great.
Yeah, man. Just take
It's
your
so
fucking
great.
vitamins.
Just do it. Go. It's
Come
time.
on.
I mean, this
Come
was
on.
all the plan. It's like we're here. We're here. I was at the car wash the other day, and it's in LA, and there's like the outdoor seating where you wait for your car, and there's like 12 people in chairs. And I came out, and everybody had the masks down around their chin. And I was like, oh, and
What's that?
I've been kind of
What's
like
that
walking
protecting?
around. I've been kind of like walking around with no mask, right? And then I went into, and I sat down, and so I had my mask in my pocket, and I started talking to this guy next to me, and I look over, and all those people then had their mask lifted up, and there was an older couple there with their mask on, so everybody had it low. The old couple walked out, they all put it back up, and I'm sitting there with nothing on my chin. Now I felt like the bad guy. So I had to like rifle it out of my pocket. It's like, but June 15th, that's all over, right? June 15th, that's not going to be a thing. California's crossing that threshold. So all right, if we're at June 15th, like,
What's today?
Why am I doing right? Exactly.
What magic thing? What is today's date?
Today's the 4th.
The 4th? Oh, we got just a few more days, and it's normal.
And it's normal.
Countdown to normal.
So what game are we playing here?
Well, did you read the Fauci emails?
Yes.
The Freedom of Information emails? That's really crazy because first of all, he's admitting in these emails that masks don't work.
Was he?
Yes. Yeah, he talked about it. Talked about it openly.
Wait, I didn't know that part. I knew.
Yeah.
I only.
Here's
I thought
the
you were
thing.
going to talk about the.
Well, that too. But here's the
crazy
thing. But part of the email was, look, part of the mask conversation with Fauci has always been that at the beginning of the pandemic, he said masks didn't work. But then he said the reason he said that is because there wasn't enough masks for first responders and hospital staff, and he wanted to make sure that the supply wasn't diminished.
Right.
So he said that he didn't tell the truth. Right? Okay. But in these emails, these are private emails. He's saying masks don't work.
For real?
Yes. He's saying they're not effective for what you, outside of a hospital setting, that these masks, like for personal use, the kind of cloth masks and paper masks that everybody's wearing, they're not effective. They can't, exactly what did he say? Let's pull it up so we get exactly what he said. But that's not even the big part. The big part is he's talking about gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab, and he's concerned about it. And thinking whether or not they had paused that and whether they're still doing that. And he's trying to connect the gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab with this COVID breakout and whether or not that's where it came from.
Right.
And
why is that a big deal?
Because they funded it. The NIH funded these people who funded the gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab, which means they're responsible for funding the very research that led to this outbreak, if that's where it came from.
Right.
So all this time when he's been saying it came from nature, there's no way it came from a lab. Well, that's shifted, right? Now everybody's saying it came from a lab.
Right.
Right.
But then not
because
confirmed
the evidence.
Yet. Right.
But the evidence is pointing as it's most likely that it came from a lab. But this whole time Fauci's been saying it didn't, but you see in his emails that he was concerned.
Well, concerned, but isn't that like just trying to figure out what the information is?
Not really.
I mean, because he doesn't definitively know either, right?
There's a lot of indications, according to the email, that he's talking to another scientist.
Right.
The scientist points out the variables or the components of the virus that seem to indicate that it possibly came from a lab. But publicly, he's been out and out dismissing that because he's connected to that research. Because he's connected to the very research they were doing there. It's really complicated shit. It's confusing. Because Rand Paul's been grilling him. Have you seen those things? Here you go. Typical mask you buy in a drugstore is not really effective in keeping out the virus, which is small enough to pass through the material. It might, however, provide some slight benefit in keeping out gross droplets if someone coughs or sneezes on you. I do not recommend that you wear a mask, particularly since you're going to a very low-risk location. See, this is just him saying that these drugstore masks are not really effective.
Right.
But this is in an email after he has said publicly that you didn't have to wear masks because they didn't really help. And then he's saying this, and after that he said, well, he wasn't telling the truth there because he didn't want people to buy all the masks. But then he's saying this after that in an email that they don't really work. But yet he's wearing a mask.
But that's
all the
kind
time.
of like there is shades in that. There's like the
gross droplets.
But if you're in a low risk location, like what's his motivation to, like, why would he profess masks if he thought?
Well, because that's the narrative.
That
First
they don't
of all,
work.
The narrative is everybody needs to mask up.
But
right?
why? Like,
well, because it makes people feel safer. A, it helps people get back to work. B, and it obviously is providing some benefit. Listen, this is my take on it. Something's happening because the flu cases are down so low.
Oh, yeah.
So is that because of people wearing masks? Is that because of social distancing? Because everybody's kind of freaked out and staying away from each other for so long?
Washing their hands everywhere they go, having Purell at every spot.
I don't think that's it because you're talking about something that's airborne.
But for you to get a cold, your hands and touching your shit.
Maybe.
All those things.
Yeah, maybe. But there's something, there's very well likely something to masks that maybe we weren't aware of. So even what he's saying there, that it might just keep out gross droplets.
Yeah.
But isn't it all about like viral load? Because like that's the thing they say about hospital workers. Like hospital workers, when they're exposed to so much,
Right, when
that's
it's a
when
heavy
it's
dose of it.
overwhelming and they really get sick.
Yeah, they get
so
like a heavy
maybe
dose.
that's what these masks are good for. What is this? Yeah, get that. There you go. Which are the protective measures anyone should take against the new virus? Do masks work? He said the vast majority of people outside China do not need to wear a mask. Read the Fauci-approved response. A mask is more appropriate for someone who's infected than for people trying to protect against infection.
Right.
Well,
I mean, what's my whole thing with all of this is it's been very confusing. Every governor's making decisions. Everybody's around the world is trying to figure shit out and calling a lockdown or calling not a lockdown. Everyone's like unlimited information trying to make the best decisions that they can. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that as a governor of a state, you're making a decision to screw up the economy on purpose. I don't think that Fauci is talking about masks to like harm people. You know what I
No.
mean? Like I
No,
just
that's not
feel
the
like
problem.
I feel like they just have limited information and are trying to muddle their way through the best that they can. Like what?
that's not the real problem. Is the mask thing? It's a small problem. The real problem is this gain of function research shit. This is the very research that they were doing where they were juicing.
What is
up
gain of function?
They were juicing up these viruses to make them more infectious, and they were practicing, like trying to use. I think they use human lung tissue and try to get the virus to be more. The idea is with. I mean, I'm going to butcher this for sure, but I think the idea is when they're doing this research, they want to find out what makes these viruses more infectious, and they were doing it on the original SARS as well, which has like a 10% fatality rate.
Wow.
It's very scary.
Wow,
This stuff is
scary.
less than 1%, but that stuff is way worse.
Yeah.
By doing this gain of function research, they run the risk of people getting sick. We just found out a couple of weeks ago that in November of 2019, 3 workers from the lab in Wuhan got sent home and sent to the hospital, rather, really ill with coronavirus-like symptoms. And this was before they had COVID-19 tests, right? So
This
these
is way
people
back.
got sent home. I believe one of the guy's wives died from COVID, and they think this was the initial infection. So these people in the lab got sick. So all this time, while they were trying to dismiss this lab outbreak, that had been hidden from us, that these 3 people in the lab got sick. The fact that Fauci had something to do with that gain of function research and funding that gain of function research, that had kind of been hidden from us.
Well, that makes it
Josh
seem...
Rogan exposed that.
But that makes it seem like Fauci's like putting on scrubs and walking down the halls of that place. You know what I mean? Like, is Fauci really like in there? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Are you defending Fauci? Is that what you're doing?
yeah. Like, I don't know. I think that he's been put up as someone we can take our fears and anger and throw it at. But is he like, he may be part of like, you know, these things are huge. Like, there's a big board of people that decide what they're going to research. And then
You got to read these emails. You got to read these emails
I
and
know.
read.
So do you think that he's evil? Do you think that he is?
No, I'm not saying that.
So what are you
No.
saying?
I think someone fucked up. I think they're trying to cover up the fact they fucked up.
Okay.
I think the whole reason why they've been saying that this thing came from nature, it's a natural spillover, is
Right.
I don't think they're saying that because that's the most likely scenario. I think they were saying that because they fucked up.
Right. Now,
And they didn't want everyone to know that they fucked up. And I think
Right.
having the position of power and having the position of authority that he had, he could say, there's no indication this came from a lab.
who is they? Who fucked up? Like, what is this?
Well, the lab in Wuhan for sure fucked up.
Okay, so who runs that lab?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that the NIH funded an organization. They gave money to an organization which gave money to that lab. That's the official story.
Got it.
And this is the
Like, who
story
is,
that
like, 'cause
Rand
I always-
Paul talked about when he was grilling Fauci. This is also what Josh Rogan talked about.
Right.
He's a journalist that investigated all this. What Rogan was saying was that during the Trump administration, everything was so chaotic that they were able to restart this kind of dangerous research that Obama had put the brakes on. Obama apparently was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you making viruses more deadly?
Oh, really?
Stop.
Yeah.
And then Trump was over there going, I'm number one, I'm the best. And they're like, I got an idea. Let's start that fucking research back.
Let
up
it
again.
fly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Virus force.
It's interesting because some
interesting.
news organizations are ignoring it completely. And other organizations are attacking. That's when you see whether or not the news is really the news, because you see the difference between the way the left wing news is covering it, which is a lot of them are just out and out ignoring it.
Yeah.
And then the right wing news coverage, they're constantly bringing up these emails,
right,
and pulling them out and hashtag fire Fauci and all this different shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like once you start calling out like this is our side's thing. Like I saw that there was a headline in the New Yorker or the New York Times that said why it's so important to figure out whether this lab theory is correct or not. And it was like that was kind of the first time I saw it in those papers of like.
Oh no, it was in it was in Newsweek a couple of months ago.
No, but I'm saying
that was like the first.
That was the first
shot
crack.
Fired.
Yeah.
Because you see it on the cover of Newsweek when they started to consider it again.
Yeah.
But it was political. Trump.
Yeah, it was totally political.
Trump was such a polarizing figure and people hated him so much that anything that guy said, everybody was like, "Fuck him. Let's go the other way."
Right.
He said it came from a lab, then it definitely didn't come from a fucking lab.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, right? That's the boy that cried wolf syndrome, right? It became
exactly.
He kind of did that to himself. He just keeps saying such crazy shit that everybody was just and calling out everybody and yelling.
But
at them.
Meanwhile, Fauci just wrote a book, so he's releasing a book on this now, and making money off of a book.
Oh,
yeah, and he's also the same guy that told us we would never shake hands again.
I think he's adorable, though. He's little. He's got like a Bronx kind of thing going.
I got an action figure somebody sent me, a Fauci action figure.
Yeah.
With a mask on. It has a mask on, sitting on my desk.
He's adorable. He's fun. You put him out there. He's like, there's like look, I would love to know what that okay, so if we're trying to get into the truth of it, which is what we need, right? We need to know.
Well, obviously, you and me are not going to get into the truth of it.
Please, you could tell me the fact right now, and I'll forget it by the next subject. But if they're trying to figure that out, like who is behind Wuhan? Like who is making those decisions to do all this stuff? Like, and how far is that a global thing? Like, is the U.S. a huge part of it? Was Norway really involved? Like who?
Well, they have a bunch
of labs
in China, apparently, that do this kind of work.
Yeah.
And they do different kinds of work at different kinds of labs. And the real fear is that in some labs in the world, some places in the world, they do weaponized virus work.
God.
Which means
terrifying.
That's terrifying. Which
terrifying.
Means they did that in Russia for sure. We actually covered that on this sci-fi show that I hosted years back.
Oh yeah.
Covered the idea of weaponized viruses.
Oh.
But the thing that they told me when we went to the CDC down in Galveston, Texas, they have this big building where they house basically every fucking terrible disease known to man, big thick-ass walls and ventilation systems, and everyone's wearing spacesuits, and me and Duncan are high as fuck wandering around this place.
No. You brought Duncan?
Yeah, me and Duncan went down there.
Oh, that's great.
And the guy was saying that what he's really worried about more than anything is things that come from nature. He's like, we could worry all day about weaponized viruses, and he goes, but the possibility of that is low compared to the possibility of something jumping from nature, which is very high.
Well, that's why during this whole debate of like whether it's the lab or the bat, I would rather it be that it came from the lab. Like the idea that, so there's just a bat and then one person eats it or kisses it on the lips, and now we're all like, you know what I mean? That's so random to me. It was like the lab thing I could get my head around. It's like, okay, somebody's screwing up and they go through the thing without being sprayed down. And okay, that's man-made. You expect there to be mistakes. But if there's just like some weird wombat that bites some kid on the ankle and then we're all screwed, that is terrifying. I'd much rather it be the lab story.
Interesting.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
No, because the lab ones, they kind of can see how they jump. Or rather, the nature spillover ones, they can kind of see how they jump. They see like intermediate steps. They see how it leaps from one animal. Like the idea was that it went from a bat to a pangolin, a pangolin to a person.
And but you didn't know until we're all screwed up and people are not able to breathe, and then that it came from the bat. Like if we knew beforehand, hey, the bats are really bad, then we can go out and kill the bats. But we don't know that beforehand.
Kill the bats.
Well, you know what
Nobody's saying we're going to kill the bats.
Well, we should if they're.
Should we exterminate the bats?
Yeah, I'm for. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really worried about livestock. That's what they're worried about the most, right? Like these swine flus and avian flus. Those are the scary ones. And those are the ones that have like traditionally been like super deadly. Those have come from livestock. A lot of them. A lot of the pandemics. That's where they jump. They jump from
mad cow disease.
No, mad cow disease is a totally different thing.
That was
mad cow disease. You have to actually eat the meat because it's a prion disease. And so what it is like brain tissue that these cows are eating. Mm-hmm. They're eating their own brain tissue.
Ew.
Yeah, that's how mad cow disease is kind of fucked because what it is like farmers feeding cows ground up cows.
Ew.
Yeah. They did that to get more protein in the cows' diets. And cannibals, whether it's cows or even humans, it creates, when you eat human neural tissue, I think that's what it is. It's brain tissue or neural tissue. It creates this thing called, what is it, Jacobs-Creutzfeldt disease? And that disease is the same thing as mad cow. It's also, it's a prion disease like chronic wasting disease, which is a disease that's infecting deer all across the country right now. And it's a real crazy issue because it hasn't jumped from deer to people. Like you can eat a deer that has chronic wasting disease, but you're eating prions that even though they don't affect humans, like you can't even kill them in a lab. Like when they take these instruments rather, like say if someone does an operation on a person who has mad cow disease, right?
Yeah.
They've taken these instruments they use for surgery and they've put them in 1,000-degree temperature for hours, and the prions are still alive.
Why are you trying to scare me? You know, I try and say that it's the lab, and then you tell me that nature's not as scary. Then you bring that out. That sounds terrifying. There's so much that can get us out there.
There's a lot that can get us.
There's so much. And even like, not even like the big stuff, like just small, like poison ivy.
How about ticks?
How about the Lyme disease?
Fucking Lyme disease.
Oh my God. I have a friend that has had Lyme disease. It has wrecked.
Oh yeah.
No exaggeration. It has wrecked the last 10 years of his life.
Yeah.
He's been like in a hungover fog for 10 years.
Yeah, Lyme disease is horrible.
Horrible.
And there's real speculation that Lyme disease was actually a weaponized disease that got out.
Ah, jeez.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who did that?
CIA. Here it goes.
Ah,
1981, a scientist who was studying Rocky Mountain spotted fever, also caused by a tick bite, began to study Lyme disease. This scientist, Willy Bergdorfer,
I don't trust him.
Found the connection between the deer tick and the disease. He discovered that the bacterium called spirochete carried by ticks was causing Lyme. The medical community honored Dr. Bergdorf's discovery in 1982 by name
82.
Okay, with extensive backgrounds on Lyme patients and scientific discoveries that ensued, doctors began to use several antibiotics to treat the disease. What is the CIA part about it?
I jumped the gun, sorry.
Yeah, give me the CIA part about it.
We do love the 80s, but...
Hold on a second.
Because the CIA speculation is like pretty recent. It's pretty recent that there was some work that they were doing with the idea of spreading diseases through ticks. Which is like, what kind of a government do we have?
Yeah, what are you doing to us?
These guys are sitting around with cigars going, I got a fucking idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Some claim that Lyme disease was introduced into the northeastern region of the U.S. by a man-made strain of Borrelia burgdorferi.
There's so
So
many
it must
words.
be named after that doctor. That escaped from a high-containment biological warfare laboratory on Plum Island. However, there is ample evidence to indicate that both ioxodes... What is that? What does that mean?
Cuts off, I think.
There's so many weird words. Plum Island, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like a place where they do tests on kids and like, you know what I mean?
Right, they trick them with plums.
They lure them in to the van with plums, drop them
Scroll
off
down
on
the-
that island. You can only get there with one boat, and they do weird tests, and it's creepy hallways, and it's always wet.
There's one boat a day. It leaves at 6 p.m. If you
Yeah.
miss it, you stay for the day. Yeah, did the
Yeah,
U.S.
the light
invent
goes
Lyme
down.
disease in the 60s? The House aims to find out. Okay, the House is investigating this. In the 1960s, on an 840-acre island at the entrance of the Long Island Sound, scientists at the highly guarded Plum Island Animal Disease Center were at
jeez.
the forefront of a U.S. biological weapons research. Wow. Specifically, they sought to create pathogens that could be deployed stealthily via insects. Listen, bro, for sure that got out that way. Skip ahead to 1975
Yeah.
when the nearby town of Old Lyme, Connecticut became the epicenter of a strange tick-borne illness.
Oh, that's why it's Lyme?
Exactly. Children began to report unusual skin rashes, chronic fatigue, and swollen knees. In
geez.
1981, the condition was named Lyme disease. A conspiracy theory spread like a fever that the researchers at Plum Island had engineered a new sickness, one that now affects more than 30,000 Americans per year. Yeah, it probably did.
So how did it get?
what
So why is it predominantly in?
Because it's right next
Deer.
to that fucking place.
No, like deer, like
Because the deer get infected by the ticks.
so they've got the ticks.
They carry the ticks. The ticks carry the disease. Wherever the deer are, the ticks live. The ticks get onto people. People get the disease.
You know, I just want to walk down the Appalachian Trail, roast some marshmallows with my family.
Well, don't get bit by a tick, bro.
I know. Like, oh my God, we
So
got
that's the theory, and apparently there's some merit to it. I've talked to people that are like in intelligence agencies, and they think there might be some merit to that.
Now let me ask you this general question.
General.
Like that creates like some sense of calm almost because you know, like you get an idea like, oh, that came from Plum Island, from those weirdos, and they did the thing. With all of these theories of like where the stuff came from and all, does it calm us down to have a story rather than live with the reality that we live on this crazy, germ-filled, virus-filled planet that we have no control over and no real narrative? Like we're basically living in chaos. Is that why people crave these stories?
Well, do they crave these stories? Well, here's the thing. For sure, we live on this crazy germ-filled, predator-filled, dangerous planet.
Yeah.
That's a fact,
Yeah.
right? And there's for sure a bunch of diseases and a bunch of poisons and toxins and things that can kill us, for sure. But I don't know why it would give you calm to think some fucking spooks, some crazy CIA freaks invented some goddamn weaponized disease that infected bugs, and then they released it, and then it accidentally got to Lyme, Connecticut, and started fucking up kids' lives. I don't know why that would make you calm. The same reason I don't know why, like, coronavirus coming from a lab would be better. Like, oh, it's better. It's better that it came from a
Because you
lab.
can be like, because you could go, oh, it was that guy. That guy, those creeps on Plum Island did it.
I don't know.
Rather than it just came out of like the sewer and attacked us.
I read about a lady who had
all scary.
she had HIV, so she has a very compromised immune system, and she got COVID, and she had it for over 200 days, and the virus mutated in her body 30 times.
Ew.
Yo.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds disgusting.
The variants. You have to take into account all the variants.
Isn't it amazing how the fear of words like that, like, okay, so my family's vaccinated, we're all good, and I'm like, I am good to go. I'm going to the Comedy Store. I'm just like, I don't even have a mask in my car, and my wife's like, you might want to be a little more cautious. And I'm like, yeah, why? This was the plan. I'm good. I followed the rules. I did the things. I'm good to go. She's like, but the variants. And it's like, what do you know from the variants? Like, what do you mean the variants? Like I understand it because you're locked onto the fearful words that they've kept spilling over us for all this time. And maybe it will turn out that a variant comes out of, but not now. There's no variant.
There's variants.
There's no variant that is able to perpetrate the vaccine.
Incorrect.
It is not true. Yes.
Incorrect. The South African variant, 100%. People that were vaccinated, or people that it was either people that are vaccinated or people that had the antibodies from the original COVID encountered the South African variant, and it was almost like they had no protection at all.
You know, sometimes I think you make things up just to scare me.
That's what Fauci said. I'm repeating exactly what he said.
But we're not supposed to believe Fauci, you said.
I believe some of the things he said.
Ah, come on. Now I'm really
He's an
confused.
infectious disease expert.
Can I go to the coffee shop
that is
without
what he
it?
said.
Is my wife
Yes.
right?
I think you should take vitamin D. I think you should exercise. I think you should drink a lot of water. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I think you should take all the vitamins, quercetin, zinc, fish oil, all those things.
I
Listen,
heard
the
fish
reason
oil
why you
was no
don't
good.
die, that's not true. The reason why you don't die from the disease, like everybody doesn't die from it, is because your immune system protects you.
Right.
Your immune system fights off the disease and you survive. The key is having an immune system that's so strong that you never really get sick. But it's possible to do. It's just not easy, and it takes a concerted effort over a long period of time to protect yourself from not just COVID but all diseases, right? This is what you're trying to do with an immune system.
Right, exactly.
It's just when something like this comes along that you can spread to people, and there's a lot of people with compromised immune systems, a lot of people that aren't healthy, and older folks, and it's fucking scary.
Are you concerned that there will be a variant that is more deadly?
Variants? No. Generally, when viruses mutate, this is, again, me. I'm an idiot. I don't know shit about viruses,
You're
but this is
very
what I've
smart,
read.
man.
When viruses mutate, they tend to be less deadly but more transmissible. Because that is how a virus stays alive. A virus doesn't stay alive by killing its host.
Yeah.
A virus stays alive by keeping the host alive and then becoming more transmissible to other people.
Aha. Well, that's a glimmer of hope.
Yeah. Well, then it just comes down to people that have fucked up immune systems, and this is the big opportunity that was missed during this whole pandemic, was like a concerted government effort to educate people on how to strengthen your immune system, how to get out there and get healthier,
How to be healthier.
Look, obesity is the number one problem. Number one, 78% of the people hospitalized with COVID were obese.
78%.
78%. Yeah.
Wow, that's high.
It's terrible for your body.
Yeah.
And all this body positivity shit,
Yeah.
it's nonsense. Like, look, no one wants you to feel bad. I don't
Right.
want anybody to feel bad.
No, but also
the facts.
Yeah.
The facts
is
about the variants.
you've got to take care of your body.
Take care of your body.
You take care of your body, it's going to take care of you.
That's what I'm saying. Eat Tom Papa's bread.
I apologize. I screwed up the bake. I was going to try and bring you bread.
You
And I was
fucked
like,
up the bake? You still fuck up bakes? How do you do that?
timing, because I need the days. And I just screwed up the order of it. My daughter came back from school. I was distracted.
How much time does it take you to bake a loaf of bread?
From the time I pull out the starter from the
Yeah.
refrigerator, it's 1 to 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah, because
Wow.
you feed it in the first day. You mix and make the dough and make it into
So when you say feed it, so explain this. You take the starter out. How big of a piece of the starter do you take?
a big tablespoon,
A tablespoon.
like 2 tablespoons, basically.
And then what do you do with that 2 tablespoons?
I put it into a little bowl and I put equal amount of flour and water in it,
Okay.
like 100 grams
And that's
of each.
feeding?
That's feeding it, giving it flour and water so the yeast in there can eat.
And do you have a specific kind of flour that you use?
I do.
What is it?
I get from Central Milling out of Utah, and I order 50-pound bags of flour. It costs more to ship it than it does to pay for the flour.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I get these big giant things.
Is the flour like a specific kind of flour? Is it?
Yeah, there's different, and you're always kind of exploring these different types of flour. I almost said variants.
Variants of the flour.
Variants of the flour. I use a malted wheat flour and an all-purpose flour, and then mess around with spelt and some rye and some stuff like that.
Do you there's like old world wheat, right?
Yeah.
Like that Italian pasta when you get it in Italy, they have that old, what is that called?
Durum,
No, but there's it's
A
double zero. or
double
something.
zero.
Is that
Yeah,
what it
that
is?
use
Yeah.
that for pizza doughs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really tastes
double
better.
zero flour. Yeah,
It's bad. It doesn't like upset your stomach as much either.
No. I mean, my bread is predominantly wheat, and it does not hurt your stomach. It does not cause you to. My wife actually had a bagel the other. It like kind of hit her. She had a bagel, just a pure bagel, and went to school. She teaches and crashed like in the middle of before lunch. But when she eats my bread, she's not hungry and she doesn't crash because it's already breaking down all of the sugars in the process of it. So she.
Well, explain that. It's because it's sourdough, right?
Right, exactly.
And sourdough, it's very low gluten, right? Sourdough?
I don't know if no, not necessarily.
It's not?
No, not
thought that
necessarily.
was
Because
the
that's
whole-
the structure of it.
But I thought that was the whole idea of sourdough, was that sourdough has lower gluten because there's something about the starter and the whatever that.
Yeah,
What is the
no.
fermented? What would you call it?
The starter, the
life.
mother,
What is the actual organism that's growing in there? Is
the
it
yeast.
bacteria? It's yeast.
Yeast, yeah,
There's
yeast.
something about that yeast. Apparently, they were saying with sourdough that makes it have less gluten.
I don't think it
breaks
has
down
less
the glutens?
gluten. I mean, because gluten is the structure. It's like those strands that will make the bread have its shape. You
Well,
know,
it's
it's
a
the
protein, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it makes it have that shape.
Let's Google
But
it.
the thing about like my friends who were gluten intolerant, and it was all the extra stuff that was in the breads that was bothering their stomach. And if you just eat my bread, which is flour, water, salt, and yeast, it doesn't have anything extra in it. There's
What
no
extra
sugars,
stuff? Like preservatives?
and sugars and glucose and all this other stuff, and that was making people sick. And I have friends that had gluten issues that eat my bread and have no problem with it because it's just pure, you know. And so my wife she wasn't crashing just from eating my stuff. But you eat a bagel, which has some added sugar in it, and it has all these sugars that are breaking down. Your body's breaking down.
Yeah, you don't realize how bad that stuff is for you until
Yeah.
you do feel that crash when you're like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
Here it goes. Fermentation process used to make sourdough breaks bread down, some of the gluten and inflammatory compounds in wheat. Yeah. However, it still contains some gluten, and no scientific evidence suggests that it's easier to digest. Yeah, but what kind of science are they doing on digestion? You know?
Yeah.
Like, how's it make you feel? But
Yeah.
it does break down some of the gluten and the
Yeah, but-
inflammatory compounds, whatever the fuck those are.
Yeah.
The digestibility of sourdough bread may depend upon the individual and various factors. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, there's different flours that you can use that are low gluten, but they're very tough to work with. You
Yeah,
end
it
up
says
with
it right
flat
there.
breads.
Go back to that. It says it right there. There's several brands of ready-made gluten-free sourdough bread on the market.
Yeah.
The fermentation process improves the taste, texture, and shelf life of gluten-free bread, so you may find you prefer gluten-free sourdough over regular
Yeah.
gluten-free bread.
But you're working towards trying to get gluten free at that point. Like,
This is a sourdough propaganda website. That's what this is.
check the source on that. So then I feed it, and then I feed it that day. I'll feed it in the morning, and then feed it in the afternoon, and then it starts to bubble up. Like it really becomes active.
Yeah.
It becomes this real bubbly thing. It's like the yeast is eating it, and it's shooting out gas, and it becomes this bubbly stuff that's ready to be making a dough, which you do the next day. And then you make that into your dough. You take more flour and water, mix that together, and then you add the sourdough starter that you have in that weird little bowl, and you mix that together. And then after 4 hours, you shape that, put it in baskets, put it in the refrigerator, and then the next morning you bake it. So it's 3 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's you really plan it out. Like you
do.
know, like during those times, once you
Yeah.
get that starter out and you start feeding it, like you have a process.
100%. And I have to work my day around it. Like if I know I'm going to the store that night at 9, I can't mix 4 hours before that.
Right.
Because if I'm going to come home late, I'll miss the time. It'll overproof. And then I've got something that's too loose to work with. So I literally have to make sure that I shape it before I go do my spots. Or I'll literally work I won't hang out. I've got to get home because I've got to get the bread shaped. Yeah, it's a baker's life. It's kind of crazy. Which is why anytime I think about starting a bakery or doing it bigger, I do 4 loaves a week.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, it's a real hard, dedicated life that you have to. It's not easy work.
It's a hard not life. Get it?
Like garlic.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
Yeah.
that if you ever thought about starting up a bit, because you really are an artist. Like your bread really is special. Like
Oh, thank you.
whenever I eat it, I'm like, God damn, this is
Yeah.
Really good. Like if I had a bakery near me and I could get a fresh loaf of your bread,
Yeah.
I'd be pumped. I'd be
I
there
know.
all the time.
I know. And it wouldn't really, it's not bad for you. I
It's
mean,
not good for you.
You
Let's
can't
stop
eat it all
lying.
the time.
Stop
and
lying to people.
No, you can't.
It's fucking bread, bro.
It's bread, but it's not the bread that you're used to. It's not eating a baguette. It's not eating this other kind of stuff. I'm telling you, it's
Are you
not
a
as good.
scientist? Do you know this for a fact? Or are you just guessing?
No, I know it for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it for a fact. And anecdotally, for my life, I can't eat it every day. Like
but
when I do
anecdotally, it does
cut all
feel
that stuff
different.
out, when I cut completely out, that's when I lose weight, for sure.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to eat that stuff, if I am going to eat a bread product, like to eat my bread, and that's like your one carb thing that you get for the day,
Yeah.
you're in good shape.
When have you ever gone on like a full health diet? Like I'm gonna not eat any sugar. I'm gonna not drink any alcohol. I'm
Yeah.
gonna not eat any garbage food.
Uh-huh.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
How long?
For like 30 days.
Yeah. How was it?
It was hard in the beginning. The stuff that I really missed, like that's what the cool thing is, that you can actually see what you abuse,
Yeah.
right? And for me, it was dairy products. It was cheeses.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was like the thing that was hard for me to cut
Are they bad for you? Cheeses?
Yeah, I guess.
Who tells you that?
The internet.
I think raw cheese is not
'Cause
bad
it's-
for you.
Isn't that a processed food?
I mean, a lot of things are processed. Just processed doesn't necessarily mean bad, right?
Mhm.
Like what means bad is preservatives. Preservatives are a real issue.
Yeah.
I don't think like a lot of healthy foods are processed, you know?
But if you eat a lot of cheese, aren't you going to be a little?
I saw a study recently that connected cheese with lower instances of Alzheimer's.
Really?
Huh. What
Look,
the fuck does that mean, though?
There is nothing. I just accept it. There is nothing greater to me than wine, cheese, and bread, and throw in some
Yeah.
pepperoni or
Right.
prosciutto like that.
Charcuterie.
Oh.
Right? How do you say it?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, like that. If you tell me that that's okay to eat, I would eat it every single day.
There's a place in town called the Lonesome Dove, and they have rattlesnake salami.
What?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Fuck yeah. That place is really good.
That's amazing.
It's a delicious restaurant. They have all kinds of cool stuff there. Wild game. They serve all kinds of interesting foods,
Yeah.
dishes. Really good stuff.
So when I did the 30 days, like I dropped probably 10 pounds, and that was like kind of the lesson that I had. Like alcohol, it was okay. Meat, even I don't eat that much. It was really that kind of cheesy stuff, you know, but you know, look, anytime I want to dial in, like during the pandemic when I was like, you know, I worked out the whole time, I was doing everything I could to like be healthier. And when I just didn't have any bread, like none of that stuff, you feel better. Yeah, for sure.
Raw cheeses apparently are very hard to get. And I knew a dude who's from France. He's from France. He was an oncologist from Paris. And he smuggled raw cheese back from Europe.
Really?
Yeah, because in Europe, cheese is not pasteurized and homogenized.
Yeah,
Like,
why is that okay?
well,
And why do we think it's not okay?
I think the whole thing is shelf life. It's the same reason why raw milk is difficult.
Yeah.
Like they were arresting people for selling raw milk at places in California.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I was once on the road in the Northeast with my opening act wanted raw milk. And she was like, "Can we just stop and like, ask the farmer?" And we did. We pulled into this guy's little, you know, place that was in like New Hampshire or Vermont, and asked him if we could have a glass of milk, and he gave it to us.
What a weird fucking request.
I know.
A couple of comedians pull up to your house. Can we have a glass of milk? It
Just milk right from the cow, and it was like kind of warm and
was warm.
yeah, it was kind
Like
of
right from the cow.
yeah, like right from the cow.
Wow.
And yeah, it was weird.
How long did you talk to this guy before you asked him for milk?
10 seconds. First of all, when you're pulling up to like someone's barn or house, like you're coming up that gravel road with the dust coming off the back of your car.
They're probably like this, looking out the window.
Yeah, someone's coming.
Yeah. He looks like a bread maker.
Two comedians pop out. We
Bread
want some regular milk.
You bread-eating fucko. Yeah, I'll give you some bread for some milk.
I'll trade you bread. Open up my case. So is that all? But if it's shelf life, that's just commerce.
Well, there's commerce, but there's the worry that people are going to have milk that's raw and they're going to let it sit and they're going to drink it and they're going to get sick. I mean, the whole reason why homogenized and pasteurized milk was made is so that it could stay fresh or stay drinkable for longer.
Right.
But the way it's been described to me, like all the natural enzymes that are in milk, they help your body digest it. And a lot of the problems that people have with like, people have like lactose intolerance. Like one of my daughters has lactose intolerance, so she has to take like a little pill before she has anything, Lactaid.
Yeah, my daughter does too.
Her butt becomes a trumpet.
Which is fun sometimes.
Yeah. But this lactose thing apparently is not nearly as much of an issue when they use raw milk.
Oh, interesting.
So people that have a hard time digesting milk normally, but again, we should probably Google this. Is it easier for people with lactose intolerance to digest raw milk?
I'm already looking at something that says the ease of digestibility of raw cheddar gives those that experience discomfort with processed cheese products a delicious and natural option. So
yeah,
I think that's the whole reason why.
But can you get it in Texas? Like, because California is like regulated through the fucking roof. There's a lot of weirdness with the raw milk. Like I remember you used to be able to buy it places, but then I saw that certain places were getting like people were literally getting arrested. But then I was like, well, is that because they don't have a license for it? Is it like have they skirted the regulations? What's happening? You know?
Has the dairy? It seems like the nut milks is what most people are eating now.
You are such a Californian. No one in Texas is drinking that nut milk.
Really? Oat milk and
it seems like the nut milk is what everybody's drinking in my Silver Lake community. Ooh.
No, really.
That stuff's disgusting. First of all, it's not milk.
Do you ever drink milk?
Yes.
Do you ever drink milk? Regular
I
milk?
drink milk, yeah.
You do?
Dude, peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a glass of milk is sensational. And then what is that? There's a vegan cookie company that you get at Whole Foods. I think it's Uncle Eddie's. Is that what it is? Uncle Eddie's vegan cookies?
Yeah.
God damn, they're so good.
Those are good.
I don't care if they're vegan. I don't care.
Yeah.
They're so good. The peanut butter chocolate chip ones, with milk. Oh, my God. Sensational.
Yeah. Well, look, this is because I live in California now. I think
everyone's drinking the oat milks.
You're going to tell me that nut milks aren't pissing off the dairy people?
First of all, it's not milk. It's some weird thing you're doing with water. You're just soaking these beans.
I always think that when I put it on like cereal or something, I'm like, I'm just wetting it. I'm just using this to wet the cereal.
Yeah, there is no breasts on almonds. You're not getting milk out of almonds.
Well,
it's not milk.
Oat milk's pretty good.
Yeah, it tastes good, but you know, most of that stuff is sugar.
Yeah, I found a place you can buy it and it delivers to you.
Aha!
Oh, look at that. It even comes through the mail. That's got to be good for
look at that.
you.
1 gallon raw milk, they deliver it to you.
Yep.
I don't think it comes
Dude,
through
I
milk.
have not had a glass of milk in 20
They have
years.
raw butter, eggs.
Gouda, cheddar, Asiago.
Send me a link to this place.
Ooh.
It's okay.
This is nice.
That is nice.
Okay, barntodoor.com.
And then you find a local
Yeah.
farm. It's like Uber Eats for farms, I guess.
And they have raw butter, raw milk.
It doesn't come this just it says it will come like in 3 days. I think you have to like pre-order it.
Sure.
I get it. Well, seems like that makes sense.
I go to the specialty shop and get this butter from
Scroll down a
France.
little.
Oh, sure.
I get this French butter. Oh, my God.
What is that stuff? Oh, Gouda. Look at that slab of Gouda cheese. Ooh, look at that.
Oh, I love it all.
Raw cheddar, raw
Sold out of
Gouda.
Pepper Jack.
So
Oh,
good.
they sold out of the fucking pepper jack. Yeah, I'm a big fan of
love
raw
it.
milk. It tastes really good.
Yeah, man, I don't even think about drinking milk.
It's a weird thing, right? Because it's only really for weaning animals. It's only really for or like young animals that are sucking on their mother's teats.
Right. Well,
That's what it's for.
Here, I kind of left out the big part of this thing. When I did this was like 15 years ago, and I did it was the 30 days of like cut everything completely out. My allergies went away. My whole life I thought I was allergic to cats, or I was constantly chasing. Is it seasonal? Is it whatever? My whole life. And when I stopped, it was I had no more allergies. I was not blowing my nose 24 hours a day. It was crazy. And then when I weaned all those things back slowly to see like what it was those. It was the milk products. It was like ice cream, any of that kind of stuff. If I had it, total allergy attack.
I wonder if that same thing would happen if you had raw.
Yeah, good question.
I wonder.
Yeah.
You got to think.
Give me that
Your
website.
body your body gets a hold of some like processed, homogenized, pasteurized milk. So it's getting this weird liquid and this dead protein. And it's probably like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Hold on. It's like it's coming out of your ass. It's like it's all this gas buildup. You feel bloated.
Bloated. Your body can't process it.
But tastes pretty fucking good. Nice cold glass with a chocolate chip cookie. Dunk that cookie in that milk. Oh, look, not everything's good for you.
No, but what's amazing too, I was thinking how little amount of something can whack your system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just a little cup of espresso, and you're like, so then when you like that whacks your system.
Yep.
So then you take like a big giant size of it, or like a whole plate of nachos, or a whole whatever substance. Like we're very sensitive, and then you're just loading this shit into your system. It's like, of course this stuff has impact.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you take into your body that you think are not that big of a deal, but over the course of a day, if most people could see the amount of sugar, if you could have like a box, like a small box that shows you the amount of sugar the average American eats in a day, you'd be like, holy fuck.
Right.
Like apple juice, right? Little kids get apple juice.
Yeah.
My daughter had one of these little apple juice containers. They're very small. It's like 4 ounces or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like 20 grams of sugar. That is so crazy.
It's so crazy.
It's all sugar.
It's just sugar.
It's sugar water.
My wife was at her job, and she was getting these like sparkling waters, and she's like, "Wow, these are really good." And she was like pounding them. 30 grams of sugar. 30 grams.
That was the thing about Duncan. Duncan was like, dude, this almond milk's amazing. And I go, what do you got? What is it? And so he tells me about this almond milk. And I go, do me a favor. I go, look down at the amount of sugar per serving.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, hold on. Holy fuck! I go, yeah, that's why it tastes good. You're drinking a milkshake, buddy.
I know.
It's not even milk. You're drinking a almond weird water. Syrup
I
thing.
couldn't. So I was trying to not drink milk anymore after my allergy problem, and I kind of found the cure. And I was like, and then I was opening for Robert Schimmel on the road, and he's like, do you want to go for a Starbucks? And I was like, he was just such a great guy, and he was so kind. And I was like, no, I don't know. I'm just so bummed out that I can't like have like a latte because the milk thing. He's like, no, you can. Come on, we'll go. You can get almond milk in that. And I was like, what? And he brought me, like in between shows, he brought me around to the Starbucks and got me an almond milk latte. And I was like so grateful. I was like, oh yeah, this is so great. It's delicious. And for years, I was literally a couple of years was like so great. And I had the attachment to Schimmel. Like he showed me this thing and I was all so excited. And same thing when they started posting all of the amount of sugar and stuff that was in their drinks.
Yeah.
I was like, a grande latte has how much sugar in it? I was like, this is a milkshake.
Yeah.
It's almond milk milkshake.
Well, most
I was
of
like,
those,
screw you, Schimmel.
Those Frappuccino things.
Yeah.
Those things are just all sugar.
All sugar.
All sugar. But that's why they're so good.
I know.
Those will make you crash hard.
Big time.
What does this say?
Visualization of sugar consumption.
The average American consumes 45 grams of sugar, the amount found in one of today's 12-ounce sodas.
That was in 1822.
This is
5 days.
Yeah, I'm reading.
Oh, sorry. I thought you missed the 1822 part.
No. I'm like in 2012, Americans consume 765 grams of sugar every 5 days. So they went from consuming a tiny amount, 45 grams of sugar, which is a little bit more than two of those, my daughter's little apple juice containers, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Every 5 days, they would have 2 of those, which is basically one 12-ounce soda every 5 days, which is nuts. Now,
Right.
every 5 days, they consume 765 grams of sugar.
Well,
the
it's so
average
sneaky.
American consume 130 pounds of sugar every year.
It's so sneaky. You know, I've said this before, but like when I was buying regular bread for my family, the healthiest bread I could find had all the sugar in it.
Yeah.
You don't think you
Like
don't
that
realize
Dave's
that.
bread. What's that?
Oh yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
But it's full of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What is
like,
it called?
it's
Dave's? What is
sneaky.
it called?
Yeah, Dave's. Yeah, it
fucking-
looks like healthy. It looks really
It's
healthy.
fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie to myself. Keep saying it's
Dave's.
Dave's Killer Bread. Yeah, I love Dave's Killer Bread.
Yeah.
If I'm looking to make a sandwich,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like to go peanut butter, jelly, and banana. I like those sometimes.
It's such a simple little joy.
Oh, it's so nice, but
Such a
there's so
joy.
much sugar in that.
Yeah,
that
the
afterwards I
jelly.
just sit on the couch and go, oh, why? Why did I sacrifice the next few hours of my life for just a few moments of mouth pleasure?
Because it's so great. It's so great. It's so great that you're talking about it all these weeks later. You're like, oh my God, that
No.
peanut butter and jelly sandwich was so good.
And if you try to have that, like, fake stuff,
Yeah.
like,
I know.
like keto desserts, those are all dog shit.
Substitute. I know. You can lie to yourself all you want.
Yeah, stop lying.
But sometimes you got to dial it in. Sometimes you got to take care of yourself, and that's okay. You just have to you just got to pick your times of when you're going to let yourself go off.
What did you do unusual during this pandemic? Did you do anything where you like made a shift in your daily routine?
Yeah, it was the creation of a routine was
Yeah.
kind of the thing. It was like the creating structure where there was no structure. I found that was so important, like to have that plan every day. Like I wasn't waking up in this weird haze of what's happening. Like I got really dialed into how I was going to go after each day. And I had the radio show that I do with Fortune. So that was 2 hours of my day, Monday through Thursday. And then from that, I built out. So you want me to go through it of like
Sure.
what a day was? Like I would wake up a little earlier so I could get the first meditation in before the day started, because I do that twice a day. So I would do that for 20 minutes. Then I would do the research and whatever I had to do for the show, do the radio show. That brought me to noon. And then I would work out immediately after that. Regardless of how I felt, I would have to work out immediately. And then the afternoon was kind of loose, was kind of structure free because you're dealing with the family and whatever. And then at night, when I was normally going out and doing stand-up, that's where I was working on the writing. So we're working on the next book. And I was like, where's that going to fit? It's hard to fit it in before the day. So when I would normally go out and do spots at night from like 8 o'clock to 10, that's when I would do the writing.
So it gave you, so even though you're not doing the normal stuff like stand-up, it gave you like a real strict sort of schedule to look forward to every day.
Totally. And the writing was like the creative kind of thing, like where I wasn't getting everything that you got from performing, like the adrenaline and all that kind of like great stuff. I was sitting with my comedic thoughts and
But at least you're creating.
creating.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I would do the second meditation was like at the end of the day, like that's usually like around 4. And that gives you a little more energy to go and do that writing or that spot. Like
So you do
late at night.
two a day? Two
Two a day.
20-minute ones a day? How many minutes?
20.
20?
Yeah.
How long did you take off stand-up?
Not that long. Like I went out kind of. I did like one a month starting in June.
Oh, really?
I went to Wise Guys in Salt Lake City. I picked places where I knew the owners and knew the city seemed like it was under control, and it calculated risk. I just had to do it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Did you test yourself or get tested anywhere?
I would get tested. Yeah, I would get tested
When? You come back?
when I came back. Yeah.
Did you hide from everybody before you got tested? Or did you immediately
It was
just...
loosey-goosey. My wife
mouth
would
kiss
sleep
the
in the other
wife?
room. They wouldn't
Really?
kiss me. Yeah.
They hid from you when you came back
A
from the road?
little distancing, you know.
Oh, weird.
A little bit. Because it was weird back in June.
It was weird.
It was weird. We didn't know. Like, you know, these people were like leaving their mail outside. Or
What
like,
made you want to go out so early? Because a lot of people were like shaming other comedians that were doing gigs, even if it was, even the health department said it was okay. It was like,
That's ludicrous. If I'm going to a city where that city has decided that it is safe for this business to operate this way, and those people in that city have agreed to go out and participate in that show, and I come in and everyone's following the rules and doing the thing, that makes everything else is emotional. Like,
well, that is what it is.
yeah.
It's emotional, but those emotions were very prevalent with the Twitter sphere of stand-up comedians.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't participate in it.
Yeah, I don't participate in it either. I
Yeah.
just find it fascinating. The thing that I got out of it is most of the people that didn't want people performing weren't doing so good anyway. They were the people that weren't doing good on the road to begin with.
Oh, it's interesting.
And then other people started going out again.
Yeah.
And they almost like want everybody's life to suck.
Yeah.
I talked to one guy who actually
That's-
admitted it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
His basic take was he was never comfortable.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things about the lockdown was it
Yeah.
made everyone uncomfortable. It made everyone's life kind of fucked up.
Uh-huh.
And then once everything started going back, he resisted.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of, the angst
Yeah.
you see online.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly didn't catch any of that. Like, I didn't see that kind of shaming stuff. I remember I put on some shows in LA. I had this warehouse space that was really open. We could open up the doors.
Where'd you do this?
And in the Valley.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When'd you do that?
I did that in like June, July.
No shit.
Yeah, I did 2 of them. And I just opened up the doors. I had Fitzsimmons there and the Sklar brothers, and Erica Rhodes was on it. And she came up to me with her little mask on and stuff. And she said, you got to kind of you got to be like kind of secretive when you do shows. People like attack you. I was like, oh, really? I hadn't. Because when I went out, first one was Salt Lake City at Wise Guys. It was just pure joy. I was so happy just to be doing it. The staff was like, thank you so much for coming. We were like, there were legit people not able to make their rent,
Yeah.
getting kicked out of places,
Didn't have
not
money
having
for
work.
food. Yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
They were so grateful that we were doing anything. And it was cobbled together in, limited capacity. And the same thing in Portland. I went up to Helium and did that one. And I brought my daughter with me in July. And it was just so euphoric. It wasn't any noise about any negative whatever. I didn't see it. And I just loved it. And I did it June. Then I ran my own show like in July. Then I did Portland. Then I did Comedy Works.
Why'd you stop doing your own show?
I just got time and just got kind of tricky. I just didn't. It was just trying to put it all together. I had to pay for people to be able to do it. Like, I paid all the comedians, and I gave them all the microphones. My friend Greg Grunberg, it's his space. He's an actor, and we gave them like microphones from Blue Microphone, and it cost us probably $500 to put up the show.
You mean everybody got their own microphone?
Yeah, we
So you
gave
don't have
everyone
to
a microphone.
Swap microphones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I figured it was a cool thing to do for and it would, and I figured like this is what comedians were so great, and they just wanted to work. They wanted to do it, and it was like if everyone got their microphone, I knew they were going to go use it somewhere else.
Yeah.
When they did whatever shows that they were cobbling together.
Whitney Cummings did it in her backyard.
I did it with her.
I thought that was wild.
It was so funny.
And people got mad at her for that. Meanwhile, she tested
they?
everybody there.
Yeah.
Tested everybody there, did it
Yeah.
outside in the backyard, and people were still like, you're super spreading. Super spreading.
And you look back at those stories from Whitney's thing, from going to Wise Guys, from going to Hilarities, doing all these shows. What's the story? The story was people came out, they were calculated, they made their own decisions, and they had a great time, and they didn't get sick.
Yep.
That's the truth.
Well, I'm not sure nobody got sick. You got all those people together in a room. It's possible somebody got out to get sick. But here's the thing. At that point, you should be able to do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this thing is basically just run through the population.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you should do things that are reckless.
No, not at all. This was not
If you want to take a
thoughtless.
chance, and go out, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's essentially how they do it here in Texas. In Texas, like, it was in, what was it, like March when the governor said, that's it, we're done. No more masks. He's
Right.
like, no more mask mandate.
Yeah.
Everything's open 100% capacity. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. And Biden was like, that's Neanderthal thinking. And meanwhile, it's worked out great. There's been no issues.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the stories are when we look back at this, like, you know,
Yeah.
with some perspective. Like, was Florida, were they worse off than California?
They definitely weren't. They're better off.
Are they better off?
Their economy's better off, and they have less cases.
Right.
And they have older people, older population. But you know what? They're also outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what this? I was watching
Yeah.
this video from this doctor, and he was saying this idea of flu season. He
Yeah.
said, you know what the flu season coincides with? People being locked down indoors.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, flu season coincides with low vitamin D.
Right. Almost no sunshine.
Well, you're not going out.
Yeah.
Like, where's flu hit you the worst? Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Why does it hit you the worst? Because that's when it's cold out.
Yeah.
And everybody's indoors, and if you're not supplementing with vitamin D, his take was you're not getting enough from being outside. You're just not.
Right.
What do you have
right.
exposed? Your face?
Yeah.
You only have your face exposed?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, look, I really do believe that people were doing their best and just trying to do whatever they thought, and their communities, they were just trying to make the best decisions to keep people safe and keep their businesses going, and doing where some of them, you're going to look back and say, well, maybe some people went too far. Maybe people didn't do enough. I don't know. But
Bro, Canada's the craziest.
yeah, what a crazy
still
story.
locked down.
I know.
Still locked down.
They were
Doesn't
doing
make any
so
sense.
well early on.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
I know. I have a friend that's filming in Vancouver, and he's double vaxxed for over a month.
Double vax. What does that mean?
He got both shots,
Oh.
vaxxed, and he's for over a month. But he flew from New York to Vancouver, and he's in a hotel room for 14 days
Yeah.
before he can go on set.
Yeah.
And in his hotel room, they just came and gave him good news. You can leave your hotel room for 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day. He's just sitting in this airport hotel in this tiny little room.
So stupid.
It's crazy.
It's so
The
stupid.
poor guy. I know.
Well, it's just they're treating it like it's March of last year.
Yeah.
You know, they're not treating it based on the current data.
Right. Right.
It's sketchy, Tom.
It is sketchy, but going out and performing was just was great, and the people were awesome. And now it's like, holy cow, we just put in all of the dates of like going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna do like some small stuff like in the next couple of months, and then I hit Vegas in July. And from that point on, all the shows that were rescheduled from before, I'm sure you have this, they were all rescheduled, plus some new dates. It's like from July to like March, it's just all on full capacity go time. I'm not going to be home ever.
Yeah, I did a full capacity show in Houston for the first time. That was
Yeah.
like a couple weeks ago. I was a little rusty.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's like you feel it. You feel a little tight.
Sure.
You feel just a little.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing arenas soon with Chappelle. We're doing
Wow.
the MGM in Vegas
Wow.
on the 8th and 9th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's going to be
That's gonna be
great.
wild.
Yeah, that's going to
Yeah.
be good. How many shows?
We're doing 2.
2 shows?
One on the 8th, one on the 9th.
Because there's always that thing when you go, you did clubs, like you would get there Thursday, and that would always be like you dust off a little bit, even for though you were performing before then, right?
Yeah.
It was like getting your feet back and like,
100%.
where's this hour go, you know?
Yeah.
And so like to not do it for like months at a time and then come back, of course. So that's got to be like a weird feeling when you get the return to the big set when you're in an arena full of people looking at you.
Well, the good news is there's a lot of clubs here that have been open for a long time.
That's good.
So we've been able to work here forever.
Yeah.
Like this is full
How often you
capacity.
going out?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 nights this week.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
I went up last night. I was up the night before that.
Nice. Where are
Yeah.
you playing? What
Different places. I've been doing Vulcan Gas Company. I've been doing that. I've been doing the Creek in the Cave. That's
Oh, yeah.
a great little place.
Yeah, everyone loves that.
Great little place. It's so tight.
Yeah.
So it's so like everything I like about like, I mean, no disrespect, but it's dingy.
Uh-huh.
I like, but I like
Dingy's
it.
good.
I like a little.
The OR.
Yeah, it's kind of
Right?
like glued together.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I like
the
it.
best.
It's great. And they pack people in there, and it's real enthusiastic crowds. And,
Yeah.
and you know Rebecca? Do you know Rebecca who owns Creek in the
I
Cave?
don't think so.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's like one of them matriarchal comedy mom figures.
Oh, nice.
Keeps everything together.
Was that related to the Brooklyn one?
It was her,
So she started that one
and moved out here.
and then moved out here.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the scene out here is strong, man. There's a lot of comics out here.
Yeah.
A lot of open micers too. So they have a lot of open mics they go to, and
Nice.
there's a real good community.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah.
I was so proud to be a comedian during all of this, just watching everybody doing whatever they could.
Figuring it out, right?
They just wanted to work. They just wanted to relate. They were just courageous. They were smart. They were just trying to do shows. It just was like, this is what makes comedy so great. On rooftops and zooming the things and doing whatever they could to create content.
They could have held back on the Zoom one.
Yeah,
The
but
Zoom one
you
was
know,
pretty ridiculous.
I know, but you know what? I did one for a charity in Montreal last week. I've only done like 3.
Was it good?
It was good. It wasn't good for me. You know what I mean?
Like charities, is that what you're saying?
I couldn't. Yeah, it was a charity for a hospital, and you know, it wasn't a good one because there was like it looked good, I guess, but I couldn't hear anything. So I'm literally doing my own rhythm, taking my pauses of where I know the laughs are. It wasn't like I felt satisfied, but they did a meet and greet after, like a Zoom meet and greet, and they had all these people in their. They were so grateful. They were so happy. They hadn't laughed that hard. Blah blah blah. Like for them, it was great.
Yeah.
So like, look, it's not awesome for us by any means, but if you're able to make these people have a good time in Montreal during their lockdown, whatever that is, you know, why not? Why not?
They had a massive protest up there recently.
Did they?
Yeah, the fucking streets were filled with people. I think it was Montreal. Might have been Toronto.
What
but
was going on?
they're sick of it. They're sick of being locked in. It doesn't. They're like, it doesn't make any sense.
Man, it's so unnatural. It really is such a thing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I think it's in Ottawa, where you have to have like, I think it's Ottawa where you have to have papers to show that there's a need for you to be outside the house.
Oh my God.
You have, yeah.
It's that bad?
Literally, yeah, like you have to show some reason why you're driving somewhere.
God, so
Like, you have-
weird.
it's insane.
We can't slip back. We just got to go forward.
But this is the thing that with the United States versus Canada, like they don't have the same laws we have. They don't have the same rights that we have. They don't have the First Amendment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't have freedom of speech. It's not like it's not like an amendment the way we have.
Right, right.
They have human rights councils. That's why people get sued for jokes up there. That's like Mike Ward got sued for doing a joke up there. Remember that?
Yeah. Someone in the audience sued him and won, right?
I think that's a different one. Mike Ward got sued because he made a joke about a kid that was sick, and then the kid was still alive like a couple of years later, and he made a joke about it. And, you know, just typical dark comedy, right?
Yeah.
But the one who got sued because of an audience member was somebody in Vancouver. There was some people that were heckling, and he went after the hecklers. I guess it was a lesbian couple, and, you know, he said some nasty shit to them, and then he got sued and lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's scary.
They don't have the same rules that we have up there.
Yeah.
It's just a different place. You have to, you have to recognize that. Like
Right.
it seems like it's America, but it's not. I mean, that's why they're still locked down like this, where it doesn't make any sense. You saw the thing where they sent 200 cops to shut down a church.
No.
You never saw that?
No.
Bro, it's the nuttiest shit you've ever seen.
Jeez.
They got cops in SWAT gear to shut down a church.
Oh my God.
200 of them. Like, what are you doing, Canada?
Yeah, get it together. What's going on? what are you doing? It really just threw. Yeah, it's not natural. It's just like you can't like put your boot on people's neck like that for too long. It's just like it's just not natural. You just watch with your kids, like not being able to go out and do stuff. And I just want to go back to Joe Beef in Montreal.
Yeah, they
you turned me on to that
down,
place.
I believe. Maybe they're open up a little bit.
Man, that place.
That place is sensational.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Shout out to Fred and David.
Yeah.
That
Holy
place
cow.
That place is amazing.
I love that joint.
Those guys are artists, you know?
Yeah.
Like legitimate, genuine artists.
100%. I don't understand how you can be an artist like that and keep the consistency. Like for all those people that are showing up every night.
Yeah.
There's like Chris Bianco in Arizona, is a pizza artisan, and it's just everyone is like he's worked on it for a month. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like if I can make that bread and make it really well and put my heart and soul, it's great. That's like one loaf of bread.
Right.
Now you have to make 1,000 of those and have that same thing. But I really do think that it comes because those people care so much that I know it sounds corny, but like the love comes into that process.
It's not corny. It's not corny. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Like you can tell when you walk into a place that, there's an owner involved here who really cares.
Yeah, Joe Beef's a perfect example of that because like those guys, I was introduced to those guys through Bourdain, and you know he was adamant that I had to meet them.
Yeah,
adamant. You know he was like, you got to meet these guys.
Really,
like, this place is incredible. He's
Great.
like, they just do it the right way, and then you go there and you go, oh, okay, I get it.
God.
And it's not a big place.
Yeah,
You know, it's like the perfect size.
You ever sit
Amazing
up
staff.
like where it's like kind of open in the back, like by that grill? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great seat.
The staff there is incredible. Everybody's like, they recognize that they're working in a special place.
Yeah, so good. I love it so much. It really, just those like, you remember those meals like forever.
Yeah.
Like you really like it's some of those places stick. You were eating every day, but then you go to a place like that and you're just like, man, oh man.
So if you go up there right now, you have to go to a hotel for 14 days before you can go wandering around.
Yeah. 14 days.
Holy
and like
shit.
serious shit. Like you can't mess around with it.
So dumb.
Yeah, I know. 14 days.
I wonder what they're going to do when America fully opens up. When America, like in the summer, when everything's just 100% opened up.
That's what I keep wondering. Like June 15th in California, it's supposed to be.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? So I just.
But how is that, June 15th? How about right now, bitch?
Well,
Open
that's
it
what
up
the
now.
car. That's what I was saying. Like about the car wash. It was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, people who have been vaccinated still get COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't get as sick.
Some of them have died.
Yeah, that's like 2.
No, it's more than 2.
3.
I don't know. We could find out how many. But the idea is that what's odd is that they're calling those breakthrough cases, and they're only counting the ones that are hospitalized or dead. And they're calling the people that died, most of them dying with COVID, not from COVID, because they have some sort of comorbidity. But the problem is that's not the way they counted the COVID deaths before vaccination. Before vaccination, they counted you dying from COVID, even if you had comorbidities. And now, I think the average amount of comorbidities is like 4. 4 comorbidities that people died with COVID.
Right.
But the number of people that died just from COVID was only 6%. So 94% died from something else and COVID. But they
Right.
called it COVID. Now they're calling it a different thing. So now if you're dying and you've been vaccinated, you've died with COVID. But it wasn't the COVID that got you. It was cancer, diabetes, whatever it is. But it's an interesting way, is an interesting distinction of how they're deciding to.
Yeah. What's so puzzling, and I think it was so like unsettling about it, was how it was almost like everybody got their own version of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had a friend that got it in New York, and once a month, she can't get out of bed for 2 days. Still. I have another friend in California who got it pretty mild, lost sense of taste and smell, still doesn't have it back.
How long ago?
A year. Over a year.
Whoa.
Everything tastes like tin and coffee. Our beautiful, sweet elixir is like rubber, like burnt rubber. There's something about the process of. I had someone on my podcast talking about it. She's a food expert. There's a thing when coffee gets heated up, when the bean gets heated up and it has that aroma that pops from it. That's a process, and it's the same thing with meat.
Have some.
And is that coffee right there? Could you imagine if you got up and this sweet coffee tasted like rubber, smelled like was repulsive to you?
Cheers.
Cheers, Joe. Good to see you. I'm
Good to
very
see you
happy
too.
to see you.
Good
in
to see you
all
too,
honesty,
buddy.
there's something strange about you not being out there.
Not for me.
Because we would run into each other, not every day, but there's just something about knowing that your friend's nearby.
I do feel that. Like, I ran into Eric Griffin last night. Eric Griffin came by the Creek in the Cave.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, it was a big old love fest.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Yeah.
we move around so much that it shouldn't be a big deal, but I don't
It's
know.
a big deal.
I just miss having you around.
It's a big deal. I miss it, but I just don't. I don't miss living in California.
Yeah.
I don't miss the amount of people. I don't miss the
know.
traffic. I don't miss the tension. I don't miss the anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't miss the way the states run. I don't miss the attitudes. It's
Yeah.
just there's a different vibe out here. People are just much friendlier.
There definitely is. Look, those changes are real. I have a friend that moved from another friend, an ex-brother-in-law, who I ran into. I was doing shows in North Carolina last week, and he moved down there from New Jersey. And New Jersey has a very LA feel to it. It's packed with people. There's a lot of angry drivers. There's a lot of tension. There's all those things you're mentioning.
Yeah.
And he looked great. He was like, man, I have been so stress-free since moving to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't tell you. It's just the stress is gone. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And you've done a thing where you made us all think about it when we're there. Like, it definitely is on my mind because we talk a lot about, and I think you've made a great move, and you definitely have given us an alternative to like put all that stuff against,
Yeah.
It's but there's still great things. I still love California. There's still a lot of great, I love being by the ocean. I love
You're a
all
glass
that kind
half
of
full
stuff.
kind of guy,
I
Tom.
am. I could be that way in Omaha.
No,
Especially
listen,
when my family's around,
the
right?
greatest thing about California is the Comedy Store. That's the greatest thing for me.
Yeah.
My friends for sure, but
Yeah.
my friends and, most of my best friends were in comedy.
Yeah.
So
all of them.
we would all go to the Comedy Store.
I know.
Joey Diaz moved to New Jersey.
I know. I know.
Ari moved to New York a long time ago. Tony's out here with me.
Right.
Tim Dillon's out here.
Tim's here now?
Yep, Tim's here. Tom
Yeah.
Segura's out here now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I don't know if it's just in our heads, but it feels. It's also the store is a little different anyway because it's still like limited capacity and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think having you guys not be there is, you can feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
I'm
I
sure.
love everybody that's there, and there's some people I didn't really know who I'm seeing more often that is exciting. Like, it's all good, it's all great, and you guys will pop in all the time, I'm sure. But it's just the day to day. It'd be like going to the Comedy Cellar and having all of a sudden Colin and Norton are not there anymore. It's like,
Right.
it feels like a different place. It's
Yeah, I used to so look forward to going to that back bar and just hanging.
yeah.
Just open up the door. Who's there? Tom Papa. What's up? Everybody was. It was just a great vibe.
Yeah.
Of being there.
Yeah.
But one of the things that this move taught me was that it's like wherever you are is where you are. It's your home. That's wherever you are is where you could whatever we decide your base is.
Yeah.
That's you set up your life and that's how you live.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can live in a place with less extraneous factors that are fucking with you in terms of like traffic and noise and pollution, the air here is so much clearer.
I know.
It's so much cleaner. You don't deal with the kind of pollution that you dealt with in LA.
And it's an illusion in LA. Like there's like you see sun and palm trees and you think this is so great. When we have friends over, we have like a little back patio. Excuse me, and we have to wipe it down every day. And I'm telling you, when we wipe it down, like it is a black residue on our
Brake
rag.
dust and pollution
Just that's in the
and
air that you don't. You're breathing that
particulates
shit in every day.
every day, and it lowers your life expectancy by about 10 years.
10.
Yeah,
Come
they say
on.
people that live in crowded, congested cities like Los Angeles have a life expectancy that's about 10 years less.
Really? Same for New York.
Young Jamie,
That's a lot of years.
you don't trust me?
Compared to
I
Compared
trust
to
you.
your mother's pussy.
I trust you, but I don't want to believe you. 10's a lot.
I'm pretty sure that's
So
what I
people
read.
in New York City are dying 10 years
Yes. Yeah.
sooner than the people.
So if they would have made it to 80, they only make it to 70.
Are we going to start? Are we going to be around long enough? I was talking to Duncan about this yesterday.
Uh-oh. Hey, man.
Man, I'm telling you what this vaccine has showed us is that there's a new way to go in and mess with our DNA. And we're going to be able to, we're so close, man, to the singularity. We're going to live to 150 for sure.
Is that what he's saying?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen all the wackadoos that think that the government is putting chips in your arm because magnets will stick to the vaccine sites?
What? Wait, say that again.
There's literally hours of videos online of people putting a magnet on the site where they got vaccinated to get the magnet to stick, thinking that there's a microchip inside of the vaccine.
Oh,
And
that's so brilliant.
It's so crazy, but there's so many videos, man.
It's so
And
funny.
you're like, is everybody trolling? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, the whole, right, exactly.
Oh, what did I ask you to look up?
I found contradictory information.
Okay. Children born in Los Angeles County today can expect to live more than 82 years, which is longer than the average American. Yeah, but
Ooh.
that's not what the question
Keep
was.
going.
The question is there was a study that showed that people that live in high population polluted cities
But that's what
have
LA
a life
is.
expectancy of 10 years less. Yeah, but non-specifically. The problem with LA that may balance it out is Los Angeles people are particularly athletic or rather exercise oriented.
Health conscious, eating
Yeah.
their oat milks.
That shit ain't good for you.
3 years, this says. Breathing polluted air shortens people's lives by an average of 3 years, a new study finds.
When was-
2020,
Yeah,
March
that makes
2020.
more sense. 10's a
That's
big thing.
okay. Yeah, I fucked it up. But that
10's
doesn't even
heavy.
3. How can you tell 3? Think about how many people go down quick because of stress.
And how do you measure those things when
Right.
the pollution levels have changed so much within
but
those
what
people's lifetimes?
What I'm saying is stress. Like if you live in a
Yes,
city
that's...
that's a high population city.
Look, for us, we live probably a much nicer version of LA than a lot of people.
Oh yeah, we don't have to get up in the morning and cut through the traffic every day.
Holy cow. Going down that 405 every single day to go do your thing.
I used to take my convertible
Uh-huh.
to the store, and sometimes I get caught in traffic in the Corvette, and
Yeah.
I would be dizzy by the time I got to the store because I'd be just breathing fumes.
my sinuses would be all messed
Just
up.
think about what you're doing if you're in a convertible. You're sitting
I
on the
know.
405.
It's-
You're
yeah.
sitting on the 405, and everybody's just burning gas.
I know. And it's
you
worse
just-
than a motorcycle because you could zoom through everybody
Right.
on the bike. But
Yeah.
a car, you're just stuck
You're
there.
just sitting there sniffing people's burnt gas.
The convertible is a dumb idea in LA. I had one too. And it's also so goddamn hot that like the amount of days you can put the roof down, you're just sitting there baking on
know
the
what I love?
405.
You know what I used to love it? I used to love it driving to the store in the winter at night because it would
Ooh.
be cold.
Nice.
And it would be like, by the time I get there, I was alive. I was
Yeah.
crackling, you
Yeah.
know? I like that car because it doesn't have any entertainment. The only entertainment
nice.
is the car itself. Like,
Yeah.
there's no radio in it. You just
What year?
65,
65. Did they have belts? Did they have?
sort of.
Yeah.
Let's stop fucking around. You get in an accident and that fucking
Yeah.
piece of plastic.
My
It's literally made out of plastic.
right.
It's
yeah.
a fiberglass
That
car.
fiberglass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Volkswagen, a 67 Volkswagen, and it just has a lap belt.
Ooh, yeah. That's what my Corvette has.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Should you put in? I always think like I should just put in a seatbelt. Like why can't I put
3-point
in-
harness. Yeah.
But then I did Leno's show.
Where you bet?
He goes,
When your time's up, your time's up.
he said, "Oh, you gotta get the Volkswagen. That's great." He said this to me in the break, like in the break of his show. He goes, "Yeah, you got a Volkswagen." I was like excited to talk car with him. Like this was one of the first times I was on, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a '67 Volkswagen." Thinking in my head, he's gonna think I'm cool. He's like, "Yeah, those things are death traps. You know, the whole gas tank is right in your lap. You get hit in that thing. Goodbye." All right, welcome back. We got Tom Poppy. He's talking about his new show. Yeah.
I don't think he would be into Volkswagens anyway. He's into like big, loud things.
He's got everything.
He's got everything.
Everything.
That place is amazing, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's incredible.
Isn't it amazing too that this really speaks to doing something that you're really passionate about? Because although he was obviously a very good host of the Tonight Show,
Yeah.
the Tonight Show is not representative of the real Jay Leno. The real Jay Leno you meet when you do his car show.
Right.
Like when
Right.
I did
Messing around.
the
and-
garage. I did Jay Leno's garage with my Corvette.
Oh, nice.
And, you know, he and I were talking, and the passion that he has for these cars is like so contagious. And he's
Yeah.
talking about suspensions
Yeah.
and the fucking steering. Look at that thing.
Oh God.
What is that?
He just had a good smile on his face.
Oh, is that the
It's like a jet
begin
car.
with a B, right?
It's amazing, whatever it is.
It doesn't say.
Look at that thing.
The
Look at the smile, though. That is as real a smile as a human being has ever smiled.
It really is. He
loves
is so happy.
He fucking loves cars, man. So like
He
when
does.
when he's doing that show, like you have-
Bugatti.
is it?
It could be.
Is it? Maybe
Maybe.
like an old school
Tank car.
tank car.
Tank car.
Turboed up for
1600.
1,600 horsepower.
Oh my God.
Reggie Watts sent me
Yeah,
this
this is
fucking
clean.
car. Dude, you want to see something wild?
Yeah.
There's a drag race between this car and a this new electric car, and there's a drag race between that new electric car and a Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you. It's I'll just send this to you, Jamie. This is the actual YouTube video itself. Oh, whoops. hold
The
on.
Rimac Navara.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the.
I got it.
Oh, you got the drag race ready?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this is it. So it's Car Wow. That's the show.
Car
and,
Wow.
In this, these crazy assholes take this. There's this new insane. I don't know
Rimac?
who makes that. Is it a small boutique company? But it goes up against the newest, dopest Ferrari, and when I mean it buries this fucking thing. Like, watch this.
The
Back
Rimac
it up.
Navara.
It's gonna be right around there. They're gonna do the 3, 2, 1, go. So watch this. Watch how fast this thing buries the Ferrari. Like, goodbye.
Wow.
That's the fastest Ferrari, and it literally gets left in the dust.
It looks like a Prius.
It leaves it in the dust. I mean, in
Wow.
the dust. And it looks like a Ferrari too. I mean, it looks like a McLaren or some, similar
Holy cow.
similar supercar.
That's electric? That's all electric.
Yeah, it says new drag race world record. But that drag race world record from June 1st, 2021, I don't think that's the world record anymore. I think the Tesla Model S Plaid just beat that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the Tesla Model S Plaid just got the fastest ever quarter mile time.
Really?
A fucking
What's
family
the Plaid?
sedan.
I don't know the Plaid.
The Plaid is the newest version of it that has 5 engines, and is that what it is? 5 engines or 3 engines? What does it have?
Jeez.
Something. 3? Yeah, maybe 3. Maybe mine has 2 and this one has 3.
Right.
But it has 0 to 60. Ready? 1.9 seconds.
1.9?
1.9 seconds. 0 to 60 for a family car. Like, it's like a sedan.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
I have
4
the S.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. Super comfortable.
Yeah.
4-door rocket sled spaceship. And
Holy
the,
cow.
the term plaid is a play off of Spaceballs. It's from the movie Spaceballs.
He loves Spaceballs.
Loves Spaceballs.
He really loves
That guy's
Spaceballs.
the best.
He really
how many-
is.
How many fucking people are like him? Do you know
Dude.
he made his rocket? He shaped his rocket closer to the rocket on Spaceballs. He literally made it less aerodynamic because he wanted it to look like the rocket from Spaceballs.
You gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy yourself.
Do you know how much that car costs?
Let me guess.
Yes.
$900,000.
No.
More.
Way
What?
more.
Way more.
Way more.
Oh, okay. $2 million.
Way more.
What?
Come on.
How much does that car cost?
$2.45 million.
Because they made only 2 of them?
Wow. That seems
I
a
don't know
bit
why.
excessive.
Yeah, I was
seems a bit
thinking about
This
it at
could be the
1.5,
prototype,
but
it,
That seems a little excessive.
maybe this was for the prototype. It doesn't say, though. It
That's
just
a-
says that's how much this. It says 2.45 Rimac Navara electric
Yeah.
hypercar, but it ran a quarter mile in 8.6 seconds. That's why it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's probably
mile.
handmade.
handmade
You know,
and,
it's probably one of those
4 motors,
And made 10
1,900
of 'em.
horsepower.
1,900 horsepower.
jeez Louise.
What in the fuck?
That's so great.
It's so weird, man. It used to be back in the day that if you had 400 horsepower, it was a lot.
I have the SpaceX app on my phone. Do you have that?
No.
You got to download
What does it do?
It gives you an alert
Every time they're launching,
every time they're launching,
and you can watch?
and you can watch.
Ooh.
And it is the coolest thing because this is exactly what you wanted space travel to be. They literally show you like, okay, and they don't waste time. It's just so efficient. They'll key you in like with 10 minutes to go. And there's a smart duo who's look attractive, and they're just giving you all the information, and they've got the whole live feed of the thing getting ready to launch, and they're just so smart. They're just telling you all this great information, and it just all looks like the future. It doesn't look like the old NASA. Like it
Yeah.
seems like current.
Yeah.
And then you get to watch this liftoff, or like when the guys were coming back from the space station. I got home after being out with some friends. I'm a little drunk. I'm in my bed. Bling, SpaceX. And you show these guys coming back and landing and watch the whole thing of how they get the spacecraft onto the boat and right there in the palm of your hand. It's like, this guy's the coolest.
That's pretty dope.
It's so great.
Is it available for Android too, or just for iPhones?
I'm sure it's available for
Well, a lot
everybody,
of
right?
things aren't. A lot
No?
of things aren't.
Really? I don't know. Does Elon
interesting.
not like Android?
I don't know.
I bet it's for everybody. He's the people space company. Would you go?
Fuck yeah. You want to go?
Go blast off?
Oh, no. I'll go watch.
No. Would
thought
you
you
do
meant
one
go
of the?
watch.
Would you do one of the
No.
space tourism things? Go up,
I'm going to wave.
loop around the planet
Listen,
a couple times.
No, legitimately, if it did get safe to the point where they do on a regular basis, like plane travel,
Yeah.
I would go. I think just for the perspective.
Yeah.
Because I remember going to Hawaii and going to the Keck Observatory and seeing the Milky Way and seeing how clear the stars were.
Oh, yeah.
That adjusted my perspective.
Really?
Yeah, because it was so radical, so bright. The stars were so incredibly vivid.
Wow.
The Milky Way so clear. I remember thinking like, oh my God, like this is up here all the time and we never see it. This is amazing. Like light pollution fucks us so bad.
I know.
That
So bad.
This an amazing vision of the heavens is available, and it's so awe-inspiring. You see it, you're like,
Wow. Can anyone do that?
yes, anybody. You could just travel up there. You don't
Really?
even, yeah, you go to the observatory. You don't even have to go to the top where the observatory is. You go to the visitor center, and they have satellites or, telescopes set up out there. But you don't even have to use the telescopes. I'm telling you, man.
It's just so dark.
You just look up.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, and no bullshit. That is literally what it looks like. But you
we
want
never
to do
see
it.
that.
We never see that. But you want to do it. You want to make sure it's with what is it? A new moon is what they call it when it's dark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You want to go up there when the moon is not out. 'Cause
Which
I
island
fucked-
is that?
That's the big island.
Uh-huh.
I went up there and I fucked up, and I went up there. The first time I went up there with my family a long time ago.
Yeah.
We went up there and it was amazing. And then we went up there a second time years later, and unfortunately we caught it while the moon was out. I didn't think. I was like, oh, this
Right.
blows.
Right.
Like that, where you-
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like.
it's
Like
not
this
Oh,
fucking,
wow.
this eats shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe I traveled up here to look at the fucking moon.
I see the moon all
But
the
when the
time.
moon's-
the only thing I see is the moon.
Exactly. It just dulls out the rest. But when the moon is not out, it's spectacular because you drive
Yeah.
through the clouds. Like when we were driving, we hit cloud cover, and I was like, oh, fuck, there's clouds. We're not going to be able to see anything. But you keep driving, and then all of a sudden, poop, you pop through the clouds. And you're like, oh, my God, this is above the clouds. And then you keep going, and then you make it to the observatory. And
Oh my God.
it's wild, man.
It is amazing how much light, what do they call it? Light pollution?
Light pollution, yeah.
It's how brutal it is. Like anytime you see like, oh, there's going to be a new thing or this comet's coming through, you're like, I can't see it here. There's no way.
Yeah, it's not good for us. And
Yeah.
I think it fucks with people's perceptions of what life really is too.
Yeah. So would you go? Like, would you go up there and like, a couple loops around?
Why? Are we
then
going
come
together?
back
Are you
and
trying
land?
to talk me into something, Tom Papa?
I'm
You wanna
thinking
go?
about it.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Who would you do? Do you have a loyalty to
I'd
Elon
probably
Musk?
throw up.
What if Jeff Bezos offered trips first? Would you go with him?
Sure.
Would you?
Yeah, why not? He has our best interest at heart, doesn't he?
Would you go on one of some company bought 15 of those we were just talking about the supersonic jets to go 3 hours across the
Yeah.
Newark
3 hours where?
Newark to London.
Oh,
Well,
like the
they
Concorde
can,
kind of thing?
Yeah.
The new supersonic jets can
Yeah.
do 4 hours to any spot on the planet.
4 hours.
4 hours. 4 hours to anywhere you want to go.
Whoa.
You want to go to Mongolia? 4 hours. You want to go to Russia? 4 hours.
Does
You
it
wanna go
look
to
like the
Thailand?
Concorde?
They look pretty dope.
Yeah.
They don't have the pointy downward nose
That was
thing.
cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they look pretty dope. And they're they're starting to develop them.
Wow.
Starting to I think different airlines are
4
going to start
hours.
offering them up.
So what if it just went higher instead of to somewhere and just came back and you got to see space?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to leave the Earth for a bit.
Yeah,
That's
you
kind
only-
of cool.
Like,
I
when
mean,
is-
kind of cool.
Yeah, real cool.
Real cool.
When does space start?
It's
Like technically.
technically we're in it, but
Oh,
Oh, that's deep.
damn, deep.
I don't know. There's just a lot of air, there's clouds in the way.
You got to break through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like
It's not that.
I want to say it's like 90,000 feet.
Yeah, it's not that high, right? Because
The upper
when I look at my
atmosphere.
SpaceX app, it seems like they do it pretty quick.
I think you want to go into the upper atmosphere. That's where.
Technically, okay, so it says U.S. military NASA defines space differently. According to them, space starts 12 miles below the Kármán line at 50 miles above Earth's surface. That's pretty fucking far.
That's pretty fucking far. So a mile is 5,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but you're there pretty quick because you got a rocket.
Look at you, you're selling it. He's like a COVID salesman. He's a rocket salesman.
What do you got?
He's not
Some
worried
say
about Lyme
62
disease.
miles.
It makes me comfortable that they did it and released it. I feel good about it.
Dude, we should.
60 miles?
Somewhere between 50 and 60 miles, yeah. So
What else did they
like,
do on
here's
Plum
a
Island?
NASA picture.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know if that's like the line here.
So what is that, 35,000 feet?
No, 350.
350,000
Yeah,
feet, duh.
350,000
So 350,000 feet, and the really high planes go to what? 40,000 feet?
Like
Yeah.
40.
So 40 or 50, yeah.
Yeah.
40 or 50.
40's high.
One of those UAP things I saw, it said they went over above 200,000 feet and they couldn't track it anymore. And I was like, how high is that?
God.
It's still.
My ears would definitely pop on that
So
flight.
what is that right there we're looking at?
It says,
How high is that?
it doesn't say here. It just
Just looks pretty.
comes up when I Google it.
So that is like
of
probably
space.
the edge of space. So that's like where some of those trips will take you. So you're really high up and you get this amazing view of Earth from above, but you don't have to do re-entry.
But then I was thinking of this because that guy just broke the record of falling without a parachute.
Oh yeah.
Jumped
Oh,
out of
yeah.
a plane. It was
Bro,
just like
imagine.
super gnarly.
Imagine why
What'd he do?
he fall into a net. He literally fell from like the edge of space into a net with no parachute.
Into a net.
A net.
How do you navigate that?
Well, he's got Lyme disease and COVID, so he's got superpowers. And he only
Nothing's
eats,
getting me.
And he only eats bread.
Nothing's getting me. We can do it. It'll be fine. It'll be
He's
fine.
a fucking crazy person.
They said he had like in his helmet he had oxygen for the beginning because you can't breathe up there, and then at a certain point there's just like a beep in his helmet that tells him, "Hey, you're halfway there," and then another beep, "Get ready because ground's coming up." And that's
Come on.
And see, these four together, the problem is if these people collide, and sometimes they do, it just rips their limbs apart.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. That wouldn't
It's
feel
like
good.
you're going, who knows how fucking fast. Like people have done that before while skydiving, collided into each other.
Ooh. So he just keeps falling. Everyone else is hitting their parachutes now.
Parachutes are now. He's
Exactly.
still got 5,000 feet, I think, on his own.
And he has
How
to.
does he know what's he gonna hit?
He's
So you
going
can
to
see.
aim down to get to that spot.
Oh my
That's the
God!
spot.
How they had a live camera feed off of his helmet, that's pretty gnarly technology too.
So when he gets towards the bottom, he has to turn upside down so that he falls into it. Watch this move.
Whoa!
It's a pretty slick move. See it? Look at that. Boom.
Whoa!
And he only caught it on the edge, dude. He caught it on the edge.
He did.
Like he almost missed it.
That's insanity! Oh my God!
How do you get past that head rush? That's like those dudes that jerk off with a noose around their neck. You
Yeah.
know? Like, hey,
Calm down.
you're just reaching too high, buddy.
Right, exactly.
You don't need this in your life.
Yeah,
You think you
what are
need
you
it. You don't
doing?
need this. You need love. You need a hug. You need to start a family.
Right, exactly. You
Yeah.
need someone else to think about.
Yeah, I bet he doesn't have kids.
No way.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something you would do if you have kids.
No way.
Jump into a fucking net with no parachute and almost miss.
That's why I have kids, is just to
Keep
say
you
no
from
to
doing
all
that?
crazy shit. My friends are like, we want to go do this. Nah,
It seems like
I'm a
that
father.
net could have been a little bigger.
Way bigger.
Wikipedia says he has one kid.
Oh, really?
Like, I mean, that seems like, if there's
Maybe
a little
he-
wind. What'd you say?
I didn't. I was about to say something terrible.
The same guy helped David Blaine with
I
his
stopped
stunt,
myself.
that ascension stunt.
Oh, with the balloons?
yeah, but phew.
That was nuts too.
God, that's so crazy.
Fuck all that.
I don't need to jump from a plane.
No.
I don't need to jump from a plane.
A train or a bus?
Or a
Now we're
bus.
Dr. Seuss now. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I do not want green eggs and ham.
But the space thing, it does intrigue me. I do get kind of nauseous with travel sometimes. Even like in the car to the airport yesterday, looking down at my phone, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, but that's just because you're looking at something while you're getting driven.
So I can go to
Yeah.
space. Just don't look at my phone when we're taking off.
If you look at your phone, I almost threw up in the back of a car once because
Yeah.
I was reading.
Uh-huh.
And I started. I'm like, oh my god! Imagine,
Yeah.
I get picked up in a town car and I hurl in the back seat because I'm trying to read
I know. It's so unfortunate. But sometimes you can. Sometimes I look at my phone, no problem.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
The problem is when things get bumpy, your brain gets disoriented and it says like, "Oh my god, this guy's sick. Like he's not seeing things right. Let's get rid of all the food because something he ate must have been poison." That's what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it is. Your body is confused as to
Yeah.
why you're looking at things, but everything's bouncing around, but yet you're not going anywhere. You're sitting still. Your body like, oh, this guy's poisoned.
Right.
Okay, let's get rid of all the food.
Oh, it's such an awful feeling.
Yeah, so your body's like, let's go, everybody out of the pool. Blah.
So when we're in our spaceship, not looking at something,
Right.
we probably won't throw up.
One day, space travel is going to be something real where you're going to be able to take a trip just like you would fly to New York. You could fly up in space and it'll be cool.
Yeah.
And then, Tom Papa, you and I
Yes.
will do space shows.
Oh, that would be the coolest.
Imagine if you do a show on an actual spaceship. Like,
That would-
imagine if they have like a stage set up. where they, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the fucking Comedy Store is a Comedy Store spaceship.
And then you got to live stream it back to
Hey,
Earth.
like you rent it out, like you rent out an event space. You rent out a
Yeah,
spaceship and
right.
you do like how many people are on a flight normally?
300, 200.
Plenty of people for a show.
Oh, for
Low
sure.
ceilings.
Yeah. Low ceilings.
All we need is good
Good
acoustics.
sound system. Those people in the Southwest are telling jokes every day.
All the time. They have songs.
Do you see how they're going to not serve alcohol on Southwestern
Because they've
American?
been having brawls lately.
Because people are losing their shit.
What's going on, Tom Papa? Why is everybody losing their shit?
Joe, I thought maybe we're going to come out of this isolation a little better and a little kinder and a little more grateful. But I think the majority have just been snapped.
Well, I think a lot of people lost so much. It's hard for them to feel normal. You know, so many people lost most of their savings, most of their job.
Yeah,
I mean, how many people lost their jobs? It's some crazy number of people that are unemployed, right?
right.
And imagine if you're in the restaurant business. You worked for 30 years to put together a restaurant,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's
you just
gone.
have no
I mean,
job.
I don't
It's
know
just
how
gone.
Fred and David are doing up at Joe Beef, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I know. I always say that my favorite restaurant is in Venice.
Oh,
It's,
yeah?
yeah. Have you ever been to Felix?
No.
It is sensational.
Really?
It is as good as a restaurant is.
Wow.
It's so good.
In Venice.
Yes, is Janet Zuccherini and Evan Funke. Janet owns it, and Evan Funke is the head chef. I've had them both on the podcast before.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, the food there is so good.
What would you have?
I've had everything. I've eaten there a ton of times, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
It is the perfect restaurant. I'm not exaggerating.
Why?
I mean, they first of all, handmade pasta. It's sensational, and you can watch them make it. They have a pasta making room that's all glass.
Oh, jeez.
So you watch like Evan or one of the master chefs there put together this pasta, and it's this laborious process of folding it and rolling it and dusting it with flour and rolling it, and they just do it over and over again. And you feel it in the food when you get it. When you get a plate like the cacio de pepe, when you get a plate
that's
of
my
that,
dish.
Oh, it's so good. There, dude, you're gonna be in heaven.
Really?
You gotta go.
Really?
They're open
All
now.
right. I'm going.
I had a steak there. Might be the best fucking steak I've ever had in my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's everything they do is perfect. I mean, it is an insane. And Evan is just a guy who is one of those head chefs that's just obsessed with doing everything perfect.
Oh my God.
And he's like studied in Italy, and and to talk to him about like there's Evan right there.
Oh wow.
Bad motherfucker, you. He's so good. He's such a good chef and such a good person. I fucking love that guy.
I want to go.
You feel it in the food.
You completely do. I'm telling you. Anytime you visit these places, like when I tour around and you go to like these bakeries that have been there forever, or like that old restaurant that's been there forever, you feel it. It's because of that person's passion.
It has everything to do with it.
Yeah.
And also the deep knowledge of how to cook correctly and a respect for the old world style of cooking. And I mean, he goes to the fucking the farmer's market and gets fresh produce and develops the menu based on what's available. It's just like, Jesus, you eat there and you're like,
I don't want to leave.
Yeah, you just wind up drinking too much wine and eating too much food.
The best.
Yeah.
It's great.
When a restaurant like gets it right like that.
Yeah.
And then they're forced to shut down for the longest fucking time.
Well, that's, I
and
know.
they were forced to shut the outdoor They developed this whole outdoor dining space. So when I was still living in LA, you could go there outdoors. And then they shut down the outdoor dining. It's like, why? Why are you saying outdoor dining is bad?
Oh, you're saying Venice, California.
Yes, Venice, California.
I thought you meant Venice.
No.
Oh.
It's on Abbot Kinney.
Oh, geez. I can go there when I get back.
Good luck getting a reservation.
Well, I'm going to tell him I'm friends with Joe.
Good luck.
How do you think I got into Joe Beef?
But Joe Beef is another one of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
But Felix
that's cool.
Felix is so good.
That's so great.
And there's restaurants like that they redefined what food is. Because now you realize, like, oh, this is basically an art gallery that you can eat.
Cacio pepe is one of the dishes that I've tried to perfect, because I try and just work on a couple things and get them as good as I can get them.
You know what you should do? You should start making your own pasta.
Yeah.
Think about it. Because you make your own bread. There's something about pasta that you buy that's fresh, like the way they cook it, where it just has this bite to it that's so satisfying.
I know.
It's just like there's something to it that's different than a dry pasta.
I know. But the dry pasta is, it's pretty close.
Says the COVID salesman. Look at this fucking guy over here. Jesus. Oh, how about Lyme disease? Not bad. Lyme disease makes me comfortable. That's coming from a lab.
I said it was bad. Well, I'd like to
love
know
that
the
it comes
source.
From a lab.
I
it's
like
great.
to know.
Makes me happy.
Plum Island. Plum Island.
Like handmade pasta is
it is better.
It's better.
It is better.
It tastes better. It feels better.
I know.
You chew it. It's got that fucking.
I took a class in Italy and learned how to make pasta, and I was like, when I get home, I'm gonna do this every night.
You're already halfway there.
I know.
With the bread. I mean, it seems like it's right up your alley to make your own. My grandmother used to make pasta.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, my grandmother made everything.
Wow.
She made her sauce from tomatoes that grew in the garden.
Wow.
So my grandfather would pick the tomatoes from the garden. My grandmother would stew them.
In Jersey?
She would make
Nice.
make the sauce. The sauce was all from scratch. She would make all the pasta from scratch. She had a table that was just a pasta making table in her kitchen. And she would have the rolling pin, and she would make lasagna, and oh my God, it was insane. It was insane.
My my nephews and I and my sister has this farm in New Jersey. She has a nonprofit called City Green where she grows vegetables and feeds Patterson, Passaic, all of these places, and learning gardens, all this amazing nonprofit work. And the cool thing is that we get, cooler than helping people, is that we get all these tomatoes in August. And last year we did it for the first time where we cooked down the tomatoes into sauce. We had a giant thing. We got the wooden stirrer, and we just hung under the house like real Italians underneath the house all day and just cooked down and then canned them all. Oh, man.
Must be so good,
It
right?
felt like, without even, like, we never saw our grandparents do this, but we know that they did. Like, it felt right that we were doing this, that we were doing this process of taking these plum tomatoes, making them into this sauce, canning it. It was such a religious
so
experience.
Satisfying about that, right? Like putting in the effort and then getting that reward, like an artisan created, sauce.
Which is really just going back to the roots of it. It's just going back to the most simple form of it.
Yeah.
And it just takes all that other bullshit away, and you're just left with the pure doing and the pure ingredients of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes it so worth it.
It does.
And now we're gonna do it again in August. I literally set up the time to travel back with my family just around when the tomatoes will be done.
What is going on with New Jersey tomatoes? Because they've always been known for their tomatoes. They have the New Jersey beefsteak tomatoes.
Yeah.
And there's like a darkness and a juiciness to those tomatoes.
They're legendary.
Oh.
Blueberries and tomatoes.
Oh, they
from
have
New
great
Jersey.
blueberries too?
Yeah.
But what is going on with the
cranberries.
soil?
I don't know why that is. I have no idea. I guess it's it's like anything. It's like, why is wine great from a region? It's a combination of all those things, of the way the wind comes through, the amount of sunlight that it gets.
I wonder if it's
all that
also
stuff.
like the seeds that they brought over.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you got to think Jersey was a particularly Italian area. Like that's where my grandparents settled.
Yeah,
and
mine too.
a lot of Italians came from Italy straight to Jersey. And
Yeah.
I wonder if they brought seeds with them.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet they weren't here until we showed up. I just found out that someone in my family, like my great-grandfather, lived above Minetta Tavern right next to the Comedy Cellar.
Really?
Yeah. My mother did a deep dive in the history and put together a book for all of us. Literally, my great-grandfather was like in a little apartment, probably with 10 people.
Wow.
And I'm downstairs performing at the cellar
jokes in the
all
same
this time,
spot.
walking up that street, Minetta Lane.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
When Fitzsimmons first moved to New York, he used to have an apartment that was right above that Mafia social club. The one that John
On
Gotti.
McDougal?
Yeah, that's where he had a place right there. In the
Really?
heart of all that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, he said he saw mobsters all the time.
Oh, well, that was like the 80s, right? They were
Yeah. Well, no, I think when
early 90s.
early 90s was when Fitzsimmons was living there.
Yeah, that was prime time, right? That's when
Yeah.
when Giuliani was going after the mob and
Uh-huh.
all that stuff was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, Fitzsimmons lived like right in the heart of Little Italy.
Oh man.
Yeah. What fucking great restaurants down there.
Oh my
Good
God.
Lord.
It's a
Good
shame.
Lord.
It's really so small now.
Well, it's also wrecked now because of the pandemic. I mean, who knows how many of them will never come back.
Yeah. But even before that, it used to be that whole area, and then it was down to like Mott Street and a couple of little ancillary. Giandusa is the pizza place there. That one's doing really well. That's a good spot.
Well, pizza's a good thing to take out. The thing
Yeah,
about a lot of the
right.
restaurants that have to-go food,
Yep.
like it makes sense to order pizza to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time you were back in New York?
Last week.
Oh, what'd you
2
do?
weeks ago. It was so great.
What'd you do?
Stand up.
No, which place?
The Cellar. And I
Oh.
did my radio show. I have the Sirius XM Come to Papa show, which is like a old variety radio show, like with sketches and comedy and music and stuff. And I've been doing it forever. And I always do it at the Village Underground there as part of the Cellar.
Oh, you do like a live version
A
of it?
live version, yeah. And I went to do it just to do it, like we were able to. And like half capacity, probably a little more. It felt great. But literally the day I landed was when the CDC said we don't need masks anymore.
Oh.
So it was popping. Like I stayed downtown, and it was just the sun was shining, people were out, they were just drinking, and you felt like
It's back.
this joy. Yeah. Oh my God. And I
Did you see that new wild park that New York City's created called the Island?
No.
It's really wild. It's like a man-made park.
Where?
That like it's I think it's somewhere near one of the harbors. But it's this wild thing where it's like on a platform. It's like these you got to see it to see what it is. It's really strange.
Oh wow.
It's like you would imagine if you were on a spaceship and they created a park.
Uh-huh.
You know, like,
Yeah, like
this is the
Elysium.
park inside the spaceship,
Right,
this giant mothership traveling with all the population through the galaxy.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Yeah,
It's weird looking. Like,
it's weird.
the
New York
base
is
of it.
weird, man. I mean, the skyline from
There
New
it is.
Jersey
Look at
is
that.
completely different.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh wow, look at that.
What is it doing?
It's like
that?
concrete mushrooms.
Yeah, that's what it looks
Whoa.
like. So
Whoa.
it's a fake island.
It's like a
that's-
skate park.
Right. It's suspended though in the water. So the entire thing is made in the water. And it varies, like the levels vary. Like see how it's got like
it's got
different-
hills.
Go back to it, please. You see how like it's all like they made artificial like varying heights of the ground. They made it look like a real park.
It's amazing.
And if you look how small the people are there, you kind of get a sense of like
it's massive. That is cool.
pretty
And that's
weird,
open
right?
now?
Yeah, it just opened.
The city has changed so much so quickly. Between the new buildings that went up, the skyline's completely different. Like looking from New Jersey, it's like there's like a whole nother city on the west side. And then when Bloomberg was in, they took away all of these access roads for cars. They don't want cars on this island at all. And now that
Which island?
Manhattan,
You didn't want cars in New York City? What do you mean?
dude, there's like parts of Broadway that are just you can't drive on any longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was before COVID. And now with COVID, there's all these outdoor dining places which they may keep. There's no parking spaces. The number of cars is gone down drastically.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's like they're trying to eco it up, and
That's an interesting
like a
thing,
future city in a way.
Who owns the spot in front of a restaurant? Is that public
That's-
for the sidewalk? Because they used to be. But then
Right.
it stopped being the public's for the sidewalk. Then it became the restaurants because the restaurant needed space to stay open and they
Right.
made accommodations. But
Yeah.
now that things are going to go back to where you can eat indoors.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to keep those spaces or not.
They did that outside in front of the stand too, didn't they? Didn't they have shows outside on the street?
I don't know if they. I don't know about the shows.
How do you
part.
get people to pay tickets for that when you could just sit there just a few feet back?
You
right?
give them a soda.
I think they did that. I think the stand
Oh,
did
that's
that.
funny.
Because I'm pretty sure Ari sent me a picture of someone on stage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they had this set up outside. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like that. Look at that.
Oh, and like looking into the stand. Oh, that's funny.
And the stage is right there. Kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
But
It felt-
this is the thing. It's like people find a way.
I
You
know.
They use ingenuity.
I know.
They find a way to do it. The store, but that store didn't have fucking shows.
That just was linked because it's a comedy outside.
Oh, yeah, they fucked
that
us
looks like
there.
the La Jolla one. Yeah.
They fucked us there.
I
It does
know.
look like La Jolla. But the comedy store in the back parking lot, they're like, no, you don't have a license to do this.
Yeah,
Like,
that
you
seemed crazy. It seemed like the
Watts.
perfect spot.
Overregulation.
Yeah.
It's doomed California from the beginning of time.
I know.
California is one of the most overregulated cities or
It
states.
really is. I know.
It's terrible.
I know. I know. It's so beautiful, though.
Some parts of it.
There's a little view of the stand.
Venice
You can
Beach, not
see
so much.
The street.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just stand there for sure.
Yeah, you totally could just be like, hey, I'm going to watch the show from over here.
Yeah. So now there's all of these. It feels like, I don't know, kind of like Venice, Italy in a way. It's like there's all these outdoor places for seating. And it'll be interesting to see, the weather's not great there for most of the year, so maybe it will go away.
Tim Dillon told me the crime's off the hook. He said it's crazy. He said he was walking through Times Square, and he said he felt like a victim.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He said it felt remarkably different.
There's a big difference between midtown and downtown. Like downtown, like in the Village, bustling, young people, just it felt like that was returned to normal, somewhat normal. Go to midtown, and there's nobody there. because they're still waiting on the return of the tourists and the return of the business people. Like the offices aren't open.
That's
And
crazy.
until
right?
you tilt those numbers and bring all those people back, what you're left with are the people that are roaming the streets, and it is dicey.
And there's some concern from a lot of people that that's never going to come back because a lot of people like working remotely.
I know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, people thrive being around other people, though. Like, there's a difference.
Yeah, for
it's,
sure.
It's a big difference.
I wonder what's like where you're more productive.
Together in an office with people watching you. In your home.
Right.
Your home set up for
You know what's amazing?
fun and relaxation.
How many guys got caught jerking off to Zoom? On Zoom calls, like didn't know that their camera was still on and they pull their dicks out.
Tubin, that Jeffrey Tubin guy.
What I mean, you can't wait until you're done with this.
I know, men.
Well, you know
It's
what it
all
is?
men, right?
It's addiction. It's pornography addiction.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's pornography addiction is. It not only is it so real, it's so taboo because for whatever reason, like there's shame in pleasuring yourself, and then there's shame in being caught pleasuring yourself, which must have been devastating for him. Right?
Oh, brutal.
And he's a legitimate journalist. Like he's a really good
know.
journalist, and fired for a mistake like that.
God.
And everyone's going to remember him for that one mistake.
I know. It's become like a verb. I got caught tubing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Don't tubing it.
But multiple
It's
people.
terrible. I love that guy. He was an interesting guy to listen to. He was just like coming into all this political times and
Well, how come you can't make a mistake?
I know.
What is that? Like, why are you firing the guy? It's like, do you think he's evil? Is that
Yeah.
why he beat off?
Who got hurt?
Yeah,
Who
he
g-
did.
Who got hurt?
His
No, I mean like
feelings.
from that
His
like
feelings.
well, his feelings.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying. That's it. Other than that, no one got hurt.
Right.
I mean, maybe some
His
people
wife.
saw it and laughed. Yeah, but the reality of the rest of that experience is
Right.
that it's just a guy beating off.
Just
like-
made a mistake.
And by the way, guys are doing that all across the country all day long. And this is the thing you find out when you let a guy work from home. Some people just can't. They can't resist that temptation.
That's right. That's
Just
why we got to get back in the office.
Click on that Pornhub tab. And then boom, chicka, boom, boom.
Any free time.
Yeah.
Guys are going to fill up with something bad.
Well, Louis C.K. told me that was one of the ways that he avoided any kind of distractions on his writing laptop. He's like, his writing laptop literally can't connect to the internet. It doesn't allow it to connect to the internet. So it's only So that's how he keeps from looking at porn, keeps from staring at car videos, and
Right.
getting distracted. He only writes
Right.
on that.
Smart.
Very.
Yeah, I never downloaded iTunes or any of that stuff onto my laptop that I write with.
Yeah.
But then there was a tool that I needed to use to email and do
Next thing
whatever
you know,
stuff.
you're watching porn. Boom, chicka, bow, bow. Wacka, wacka, wow, wow. Yeah, it's so tempting to just watch YouTube videos, to just Google things.
Yeah.
Just see what's going on in the world.
You got to stop
What's
yourself.
happening in the news.
Picking up your phone, but more than the computer for me, like I can stay off of that stuff pretty easily having the phone next to me is the problem. Picking that up and just going to check Instagram, and then you just boom, 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 boom. That thing is I don't like that. Really, it's such a time suck.
It's a time suck, and then if you start reading comments and reading people's opinions about you, and then you
Forget it.
you get
Forget
weirded out.
I stopped going to the Twitters. I never read Twitter anymore. Like for years, just stopped going to the feed for it.
It's a bunch of mentally unhealthy people throwing shit at each other.
It was so healthy to not do it. I literally when we were talking earlier about like the people hating on people performing, I literally did not see it. I'm
Good
not
for
making
you.
it up.
No,
I'm like
good.
literally did not know it was happening
That's
until
the
it was
way to
pointed
be.
out. But Instagram, because it's a little more joyous, I think, seeing people's faces and seeing your friends performing and all that kind of stuff. Like I will scroll through that.
Yeah,
But-
Instagram's definitely more interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was dumb at first because I thought, what? It's just pictures. I want to see pictures. The fuck?
Right.
I can see pictures anyway. But
Yeah.
then I realized like pictures with captions is actually kind of more indicative of like a person's thoughts
Uh-huh.
than just just the caption itself. Like,
Right,
oh, okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
You had a funny one today with that artist.
How crazy is that?
It was
The
so
guy had a
funny.
fucking. He sold a sculpture for I think it was like $18,000.
An invisible sculpture.
Yeah, it's just nothing. It's air.
Does
you,
not
you have to imagine what the sculpture is.
So when you buy it, what do you put it in your car? You have to get a car?
Well, here's the thing: like,
You gotta-
how can he stop him from selling the exact same one to everybody?
Right? It's invisible.
But the fact that it was an auction, that someone was so dumb. How much did they pay? Was it
18 grand.
1,000. When I looked it up though to try to find the article about it, to be like, this can't be real, is it? I stumbled across an opinion piece about it on the advertising world, saying that this happens in the advertising world all of the time. Like people will pay a bunch of money, even at an auction type thing, for their ad to go out to X amount of viewers. They think on a blog or a popular video or whatever,
Right.
and they'll see results that show this was viewed X amount of times, but they never know that that's an actual human. They're being sold essentially the same thing as what this guy's like article was sort of saying. And I know that that's true, but I don't know that the artist is making a point on the advertising world or like people are
Right,
selling
or
fake
the-
shit to people.
He's just a scam artist. Just a dirty LACMA style scam artist. The LA County Museum of Arts. You know that? You ever go to LACMA?
Yeah.
You want to hurt somebody when you go there.
When
You're
you
like,
see
what is this? What are you doing?
when you see what they're calling art.
Yeah, one of them was a plexiglass box that was just sitting on the ground. And I was just joking around. And I said, yeah, that plexiglass, that's the art. That's the whole thing. It's like amazing. Look what they did there.
Yeah.
I was joking. And this woman said, actually, that is the art piece. What are you saying? That's not art. It's a piece
You
of
don't get
plastic.
it.
Yeah,
No, you don't get
that's
it.
what the problem is. You don't get it. You're not sophisticated in your taste of art.
Right.
But modern art, like one of the art pieces was like someone throwing a ball and then the other person catching it. And just playing a loop of people throwing balls at each other. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I know. The art world is very...
But not the regular art world, like art, like people's paintings and interesting shit. I love that stuff.
Sure.
I'm fascinated by
Sure.
that. But it's these scam artists that sell invisible sculptures. Like, you can eat shit, you fuck. What do you got there?
This is the piece, I guess, on the guy's, the artist's
Well, there's no piece.
Instagram. It's a video playing.
Oh, it's a video of empty space?
It shows, there's like a chalk outline on a street. There it is. That's the piece.
That's the piece. Okay.
The sculpture I installed here.
That's the sculpture.
Yeah, shut the fuck
An empty
up.
lot.
Shut the fuck up.
What about the person who bought it, though? Like, who wanted to buy it?
It's probably some crazy dude who has too much money.
You-
Some
and then
oil
he-
baron. Like, I'll buy it. Fuck you. I win the auction. He's
Right.
probably doing coke and just doing random auctions all day long.
We got 15, 15, 15, going 16, going 16, 16, 18 sold to Johnny Fat Cigar.
Did you ever see that movie Uncut Gems?
Parts of it, half of it.
You didn't see the whole thing?
No, I got distracted and I
Watch
never
the whole
went
thing.
back to
It's a
it.
fucking amazing movie. But
It was fun.
in it, there's a scam auction where he's got a buddy like bidding for something to try to raise up the price. Then he fucks up and wins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, spoiler alert. How great was that movie?
It was frantic.
Yeah. I, as a person who really likes the NBA and is a little bit into gambling, I go, it's good. It's fun. But, like, they've built up some fucking drama that doesn't exist and can't exist because
Which
you
kind of
can't do
drama?
that stuff. The
Like
bet
what?
he makes is a bet you cannot make.
Oh.
And
Really? That seems like a
and
big
at the
oversight.
end, he sends his girlfriend on a Uber Blade that didn't exist until like 3 years ago.
Uber Blade? What's
yeah,
an Uber Blade?
the helicopter thing.
Oh, the helicopter
Oh.
He
Uber
sends her
to
to
JFK.
a casino that doesn't have a sports book.
Uh-huh.
So like, there's a couple that, but I'm like,
Sounds
the
like a
events of the
little
movie are great.
nitpicky.
A little nitpicky,
Hey,
right?
hey.
Sounds like a little.
Sometimes it takes you out of the movie though when you're watching. You're like, you can't even make this bet.
That was that Teddy Bergeron joke about the person that goes to the theater and watches Peter
Yeah.
Pan.
He's on a wire. There's no Santa Claus and he's on a wire.
What
Yeah.
a great joke.
When I was an open micer, I did my very first open mic night. Jonathan Katz was the host.
Wow.
And, it was a bunch of scrubs like me. And then Teddy Bergeron came on and did a set.
Wow.
Oh, my God. It made you would just want to quit right there and then.
Oh,
'Cause
God.
you're like, I'll never be as funny as that guy. I did a lot of gigs with him too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I saw him when he came through the cellar, probably in like 98, 99.
Yeah.
He was like a little older, and he came through, and it was just like, that weird space. You're in like this little thing, and he was so different from everybody else, age-wise and performance-wise. But there were just these moments that were just like, it was like watching like a lion in a way. Like he was kind of like finding his way, and then you would see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where I got that joke from. He's on a wire.
Yeah.
He'd just all of a sudden explode.
He's on a wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his style. He was such a brilliant guy, like a really intelligent guy.
Yeah.
And his comedy was so polished, so smooth.
Yeah, yeah.
It's where you get to see like the different styles of delivery that different people have. And
yeah. No, I mean, he was, I just went down a rabbit hole of Bernie Mac the other day.
oh my God.
God,
He was a monster.
a monster. The passion.
When he went on stage at Def Jam,
Yeah.
he was like,
Oh.
I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers.
The best. The best. Everyone's bombing before him, and the audience is rough.
And when he
I ain't
went out
afraid of you
there like that-
motherfuckers. Boom.
When he went out there like that, everybody was like, oh, like you feel the energy shift in the room.
He was energy, the belief, that was the really like lesson that you always have to relearn these lessons all the time, right? And just that he was not up there being passive. He was letting you know that what he was talking about right now is the most important thing in the world.
Yep.
That thing.
Yep.
Such a powerful
preacher
thing.
confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, like almost like he's talking about a religious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. When people have that kind of like Sam Kinison style delivery, that's just fucking dynamic, powerful delivery. It's just so gripping. It's so catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you've got to. How can I think there was a Kinison quote actually. It was like, how can you expect the audience to give a shit if you don't?
Right. Was that Hicks or Kinison?
I think it was Kinison.
Maybe him and Hicks shared.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they hung around together a lot.
I mean, it's something we should all be
Yeah.
saying over and over again.
Yeah.
But you do see comics sometimes get up there and be like, meh. And it's like, well, yeah.
What else? What else?
Yeah, right. What else is going on? Right?
One of the things that taught me, that I learned rather from Boston, is people's attention spans are very precious.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay attention to people's attention spans.
Uh-huh.
You have to appreciate it.
Right.
Because in Boston, they don't have a lot of tolerance for meandering.
Right.
And all the comedians on the shows, like if you're dealing with a guy like a Lenny Clark or a Steve Sweeney, they're all rapid fire, real tight acts, bang, 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 punchlines coming at you,
Yeah.
guns blazing. Like growing up in a place like that, you develop this sort of Bill Burr style, the Patrice O'Neill style. There's a lot of guys that come, like those guys, 2 Boston guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Nick DiPaolo.
Yeah.
There's, so many, Louis C.K., so many guys from that area, Bobcat.
Yeah.
So many guys from that environment.
And then you get Stephen Wright and Jonathan Katz.
Yeah, very different.
Right?
Yeah. Well, Stephen Wright's the most different, right?
The most different. But in his own way, he's bringing that belief, that passion, that thing. He's not. His cadence is so much slower than Bernie Mac.
Right.
But
there's a slow burn to the intensity. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is an intensity. Maybe that's the key word.
I always really admired people like him because his style is all non sequiturs. Like you can't feed off of something. Like you and I, we can talk about something. Like say if we talk about coffee, we can just kind of go on about coffee and then lead it into wine and lead it into this. And then, there's so many different places you can take an idea. But when you're just doing non sequiturs, I got a job at a place that makes fire hydrants. You couldn't park anywhere near the joint.
Right.
Like that kind of.
That's your thing. It's your
fire,
line.
Fire hydrant factory. I fucked up. But I mean, Stephen Wright would do all non sequiturs.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy.
Who do we know that does that today?
Anthony
Jeselnik.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of. But he kind of.
He stays in it. It's all lines.
Yeah.
Right. It's all.
But it's always
jokes.
Like dark, real dark stuff.
Well, he's doing he has a twist on it, but it's still like he's not gonna. I've never seen Anthony just kind of like break off and just start You know?
No, he doesn't riff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like who else does like completely non-related? Like Mitch Hedberg did that.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Hedberg was complete non sequiturs.
Yeah.
I always think like, how do they remember whether they told that joke yet?
I know.
Because every joke is like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
and you have 150 of them. Like, how do you remember?
I know. It's a whole different thing.
Do you ever do 3 shows and you can't remember whether or not you've done that joke for the?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Terrifying.
3 shows are weird. That's the weirdness.
That was like the goal of it was like to never do 3 shows in a night.
Yeah.
That was brutal. No one wanted to be at that last show. The audience didn't want to be there. They were tired and drunk. You were tired. It was
They fucked up and didn't get tickets for the 10 o'clock. Now,
yeah,
here they
it
are
was
at the
terrible.
midnight show. So the midnight show, by the way, you don't go on stage till like 12:40.
Right, exactly.
It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're getting on stage.
A nightmare.
Show us your tits.
A nightmare.
Okay. I'm here to make you laugh.
Oh, the worst. Just being in those lion dens. Just
Yeah.
trying. That's why you had to go fast. That's why you needed to keep
yeah.
going. You needed to hammer.
Well, those late night shows on Friday night too. Like those are the worst. Like,
Oof.
because the people worked all day. They worked all day. They worked all week. They got to the last day of the week,
Oh,
and now
they've been up since 6 in the morning.
Uh,
And then they got drunk and did whatever they
Yes.
did. Ate, drank,
Yeah.
did what got high before your show.
yep.
A
Ate
nightmare.
a whole chicken.
And everyone did those shows for a long time.
I did them forever.
They don't exist anymore, I don't think.
Some places still have them. Some places still do a midnight show.
Not many.
Uh,
It's not good. It's only good for the guy selling the booze.
yeah, I forget who the last person asked me if they should do a midnight show, and I said, well, I mean, look, it's money. If you need the money, do it. But I fucking hate those. I don't think they're ever worth doing.
The worst.
And so they said, I'm going to do it. And then they text me the next day, you were right. Fucking terrible. I'm like, yeah, it's like you're dealing with the most tired, most drunk people.
Yeah, you just want to send people home at that hour.
That said, every now and then you'll have a midnight show and it's fucking fire.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll have a late night show.
Yeah.
Like some of those late night shows at the store were fucking incredible.
Yeah.
You never know.
Can't go that long.
No.
You can't go that
no,
long.
you can't drag it out.
You have to be conscious of how much they've got left in the tank too.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
going to be
That's why when I see those guys, like when Dane and Chappelle and all those guys were doing like 5-hour sets, remember? They were like breaking the Guinness Book of World Records.
I know.
I think Dane broke the record, but I think somebody broke it and went like 24 hours on stage.
Right.
I wonder if they peed.
Yeah, good question. I bet there was
Maybe
pee
have
breaks.
a water jug. Just
Yeah.
turn.
Ew.
Part of the act.
Like a trucker.
Yeah, like a large
Like a long haul
gallon
trucker.
40
jug.
hours and 8 minutes.
for stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
When was this?
April 30th, 2013, United States.
How much
did
of
it?
that is real comedy?
A guy named the Midnight Swinger, David Scott, at
His-
the Diamond
his-
Joe Casino in Dubuque, Iowa.
His name's the Midnight Swinger,
Mm-hmm.
Go for
and he was
it.
on stage for 40 hours. Let me see what he
Yeah,
looks
why
like.
not?
Let me see what he looks like. Wow,
Yeah.
I like his tie.
He's good. He looks like he's got
He
energy.
looks like he might be funny.
Looks like
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So he holds the world record.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have any information about it. I was going to look that up next, but
Well, look, Google his name, David
by
Scott.
an individual. I'm sure he has a website.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's
Wish-
got.
different
it's not
David
him.
Scott.
It's a congressman.
Comedy. When Mr.
Showtime.
Showtime. It's like you want to see his set. I think he's wearing mascara. What's
What?
he got going on?
he
It's the
dresses
same
up.
guy?
I don't know.
I don't
Wow.
think it's the same guy. Is
That,
it?
look, that looks like a.
Maybe. He's got a crazy
That
haircut.
looks like an older Tim Minchin.
That looks like one of my mom's friends. Yeah, you don't. That is it. Does it seem like the same guy? It doesn't, though, does it?
Just with different hair.
Oh yeah, it's just a different look.
I mean, that picture is 2013. That's 8 years later. He could have long hair now. I have long hair.
He's still
Could be
cranking.
his COVID hair.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but how much of that
he's-
is comedy at that point? You're just kind of standing up. You're just in a
He's got
place.
the world record.
Yeah.
Big news, must watch. Go
That's
back.
right.
You just happen to be in a comedy club.
Go back.
I can't.
You can't. Oh,
It's like Facebook.
wacky Facebook interface.
You
I try to keep it,
wackadoo.
it sucks.
But it was cool being at the Cellar again. They were cranking out shows. All the comics were there. They were doing vax shows. You had to show your vaccine so they can
For
admit more
comics
people.
as well?
No.
The store has it for the comics.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Why can't you just show a negative test? With the Facebook just banned Donald Trump for 2 years. They said he can't come back to Facebook for 2 years.
Yeah, I just read that there's
too
something
bad.
he could do though to get back. I didn't know what it was he could do to get back, but like there's something he can do to come back though.
Like parole?
I don't. Yeah, a little
Instead
bit.
of a parole hearing? Tell us you're sorry.
Let me see.
I'm sorry.
You have to put out.
I almost caused the United States to collapse. The end of democracy.
You have to just
But
give
I'm
us
the best.
inspirational quotes for the next 2 years,
Yeah.
and we'll let you back in.
Like, what kind of fucking... They made a ruling, and some people are like, this is bullshit. He should be out forever. Like,
Yeah.
why are you letting him back in 2 years?
Yeah.
Because in 2 years, he'll be even older. It's like, imagine how dumb he'll be in 2
Imagine
years.
how more reckless.
It'll be a mess. In 2 years, and then the 2 years, the effect of all the amphetamines he's going to be taking from now until those 2 years. Deterioration of the brain, McDonald's food, no vitamins. You know?
I know. He does all the opposite. He's going to live longer than everybody.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder.
Wow. They just came down with that ruling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty heavy.
I'm trying to find a bit the way that says he come back, but it does say that he's in 2 years they're going to reevaluate even, so it might not be
Right.
that.
Yeah. He's fucked.
Kick the can.
It's very interesting how they can just remove someone from social media like that, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a real eye opener for a lot of people when they can move the president of the United States off of Twitter and go, "That's it, you're done,"
Yeah. Done.
and then you don't hear from him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if he was still on social media right now.
Oh, it's so exhausting.
You would never hear a word. And apparently, he quit his blog after only 9 days because the fucking view count was so abysmal.
Yeah. Who wants? Yeah.
No
much
one was
easier to
going to the
tweet.
president's blog. You know?
Yeah.
But that's the thing that's interesting, though, is like
Yeah.
people are locked into these ecosystems. Whether
Right.
it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, whatever it is, they're locked into those things.
Yeah.
And nobody
yeah.
wants to go to your website anymore.
No, I know.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, they just want to see, just feed it to me.
Well, make it a part of what I already eat. Don't make me go to a new
Right.
restaurant.
Yeah, don't right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
People don't want to go anywhere. Like, just even switching over from YouTube to Spotify. So many people are like, "Boo, what the fuck is this?
Oh, really?
I got to download a new thing." They're mad.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
That's
people got
weird.
mad. It's not weird, though. People get, like, trapped in a habit.
Yeah.
You have a routine that you follow.
Yeah.
You go to iTunes. Every day at iTunes, you get the latest podcast. There it is. I'm already subscribed.
Yeah.
Press play.
Yeah.
And now you got to do the same thing over at Spotify.
But what's so weird is how it's moving. Like it's always changing. There's always new things coming up, and
Well, now Spotify has more podcast viewers or listeners than any other app. Spotify
Oh, really?
has surpassed Apple.
wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah. It's a new thing.
Man, they really did that quickly.
Yeah. Make sure that's true. I'm 90% sure it's true, though.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good interface, you know. I won't say any more because I work for them.
No, but it is. I mean, just watching from my daughters, they were looking at me using Apple Music like, ew. I was like, what? They're like, no, Spotify.
It says that they will surpass Apple this year,
Will, when was this?
March.
Oh, that's quite a long time ago, isn't it?
Well, it was a forecast too.
I think the latest one was something they sent. Well, I might be wrong.
Just got to follow where the kids are going.
Maybe it's worldwide, but in America, it's still Apple still has the lead, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like Google worldwide use of Spotify. But then I got a message from a friend of mine who said his friends in some parts of the world can't get Spotify. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah?
That's true. Yeah.
Like Iran.
I was gonna say if I've gotten a message, Facebook is adding podcasts so that people can listen to podcasts on that.
Can you imagine with the censorship that those motherfuckers pump out? I mean, they just now allowed you to talk about the lab leak theory again. For the longest time, if you talked about the COVID possibly leaking from a lab that studied COVID that just happens to be in the exact same location as the fucking weird disease that is inexplicably
really
sickening people in different ways and all the shit that we talked about before.
Just happens to be there.
If you put that on Facebook, they would literally delete it from Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, it's legitimate scientists and biologists were examining this. Epidemiologists were examining this. And they were saying this very well may have come from the lab that is right there in that same area.
So what's their interest in
that?
What was their interest in that?
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows?
Who knows what these people are up to?
Mark Zuckerberg, if there's anybody on this planet that's a robot, it's him.
Yeah.
You ever see him drink water?
No.
It's very weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to drink like Zuckerberg.
Can you use two hands?
Yeah, he used two hands, but maybe that was Trump that used two hands.
Trump used two hands.
Trump used two hands, and everybody was speculating. He's shaking. He's got the shakes. Watch him sip. Watch him sip this water. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Ready?
Oh.
This is how people drink the water. Look how he puts it down. What is that? That is a guy that secretly.
Oh, that's weird.
That is a guy that secretly wants all the power in the world.
Yeah.
And he's trying to keep it together. Just don't fuck
let
this
them
up,
see.
Mark. Don't fuck this up. Take a sip of water.
Don't let
we
them
are normal.
see.
We are just like us. We are just like them.
It's so weird.
Bro, that is the weirdest sip
It
of
is
water
so
ever.
bizarre. That's so weird.
So strange.
That's why he was able to do it, I guess.
But I mean,
He's a
why did he even
cyborg.
want that much water?
Yeah.
Do you even notice if you had that much water right after you have it? Well, go ahead, try that. Ready? Let's do a Mark Zuckerberg set. Ready?
He looks at it first. He looks at what he's putting in.
Probably because he's worried they're poisoning him. Mm-hmm. He probably has a bunch of people that test his food.
We can't even
Eat the king's food.
You trying to be more robotic doesn't come close to what he was doing. Like, you're doing your best to be like a robot, and still there's so much just emotion coming out of your body.
Was that his sunscreen? Is that legit?
Yeah.
That's real
He
sunscreen?
went surfing, yeah.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
What?
Yeah.
He did his whole face in zinc?
Yes.
Bro, he's so odd.
It's so weird. I love that exists.
Just see, when you have the kind of money that guy has and the kind of power he has by being at the helm of Facebook, and then you have a bunch of people that want you to step down as a CEO, like a lot of people want him to step down as a CEO of Facebook.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of people. They think he fucked up things during the election with all the Russian propaganda and all the shit that happened in 2016 and
selling all our information to people. That was a big kerfuffle.
Yeah, there's so much going on, and they want him to step down, but he's like, fuck you, I'm drinking water.
Yeah, I made this. I'm going to keep it.
But like Jeff Bezos is stepping down.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
Spend that money?
Man, you'll get bored.
Would you?
Yeah, if you're that kind of head that got you to that position, right?
Maybe he wants to do something else. Don't you think you could do something else with $150 billion fucking dollars? You could basically
I don't know if it would change me at all.
you set $1 billion aside and start doing wild shit with that $1 billion.
Yeah.
You know, just decide, all right, I'm gonna do this.
Do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What would you do? What would you do if you're Bill Gates and you just got divorced?
Why did they get divorced?
Because he likes to fuck.
Is that it?
Probably. I'd imagine
He got caught tubing in his thing.
$150 billion. You know,
Yeah.
Probably wants to fuck. Like, listen, Melinda, I love you, but I can't.
It just
wanna do
seems
this
so
anymore.
weird at that age to, like at that time.
What do
really?
they call that? They call that, there's a certain type of divorce they call that. It's like there's a term.
Is there?
Yeah. Like,
It's gotta be because it's so weird. You're just the old jellyfish people.
it's like a sunset divorce or some shit. Like
Right,
that. So at
right.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
I quit. Enough.
God, at that point, who cares?
I think there's
Let's make some tea.
the speculation is it had something to do with his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, which turned out to be far more extensive than he had let on.
Oh, geez. Everything always comes back to that guy. That guy had his claws in everybody.
I know.
So creepy.
Don't you feel real fortunate that you never went to one of his parties?
I never, and I
Imagine
tried
if
to
you
get
did.
invited all those years.
Imagine Imagine if you did though.
Oh
Imagine
my
if you
God!
like
Just a snapshot of you at a party with a drink.
a lot of famous people were at his parties.
I
A
know.
lot of famous people traveled with him.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, that was part of the gig. Whatever he was doing,
God.
let's not speculate about who he worked for, what intelligence agencies or what have you.
Oh, geez.
But for sure, there was some of that going on, and he was curating influential people.
That's so weird, isn't it?
Fuck yeah, it's weird.
God, people have too much time on their hands.
What's weird is that was like the craziest conspiracy theory ever. If you went back in the day, just like a few years ago, and someone like some Alex Jones type dude was telling you about a conspiracy where super wealthy people and famous people fly to an island to have sex with underage girls, you're like, what? That sounds like Looney Tune stuff.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, it was real. It was real. And then he got literally hundreds of celebrities and scientists. And
Well, maybe they
world
were coming
leaders.
because they heard it was a good buffet.
That's what I heard. I heard it's a great buffet. I only flew with him 26 times. I don't know what the problem is. Everybody's so fucking judgmental today.
I hear he's got a bunch of jet skis. I hear it's a really fun time. He's got his own game room. I hear he's got his own
Shuffleboard.
the shuffleboard.
There's a. Let me find this real quick.
How's that
There's a-
Jelaine lady
Creepos.
staying
I was just
alive?
looking it up. She's
Who?
got denied her 5th bail charge yesterday.
Who?
Or
Trying to get on bail?
trying to get out. Yeah.
Oh,
denied.
his
Parole?
partner, who arranged all that stuff.
Bail, not parole, right? Yeah. What is
That was a documentary I didn't get through.
When is her fucking
November.
November? Why is it so long?
Probably because COVID.
No, they're trying to murder her. They're just doing it nice and slow.
They just keep putting a rope
Yeah.
into her into her cell. Just gonna leave this on the tray.
Well, how about the fucking people that were guarding Jeffrey Epstein's cell? They falsified records, lied about it, and they just got like community service. Like, whatever. No big deal.
I pulled up the wrong clip. Do you remember that show, like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous? But it was later. It was on
Cribs.
VH1. It was sort of like Cribs. There's a little bit of mixture of both, but VH1 did it.
Pimp my ride.
They did a. They did
Champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
it's just like that of Jeffrey Epstein,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that online the other day.
and they're showing like
Yeah.
his cool house. I'm trying to find the video though. It's not.
Oh, they
not
featured him on the show.
Bro.
This is the massage room where all the action happens.
Everyone is of age.
There's
You're
no
not
limit
being
here.
filmed.
Creepy.
Yeah.
God.
That was the word this Ghislaine said, that they had like films of everyone. Films of all those people. That's the old
Largest
spot.
single residence in all of Manhattan.
Yeah.
A whopping 51,000 square feet.
That's
Oh.
a dope house. Look at him.
Oh,
Unearthed video from Jeffrey Epstein's feature from 2007 has gone massively viral on social media.
It just
and
sells
it's
them
making
almost like you guys
viewers
were doing. Like
cringe.
he was like a cool guy.
Never before.
Yeah.
Sweet parties and.
Fabulous life of billion-dollar Wall Street ballers dives into Epstein's fixation on owning private. Oh, there it is. Led friendship of Bill Clinton was spotted on the infamous Lolita Express jet in 2002. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow. You know what? None of those people are making their own pasta. I'll tell you that right now.
That's what's up.
Right?
Yeah.
No one's learning how to shoot a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
They have nothing to take up their time, so they just run around with their wieners out.
You greatly benefited from my move to Austin, Texas. You got a freezer full of elk.
Dude,
How's that like?
Joe,
You have a full freezer.
it was the greatest gift. I open it just even when I'm not eating it, just to look inside. I have that giant freezer. It fit perfectly. It's like my house was waiting for it. It's just perfect nook right in the garage, and it's just so much elk.
Isn't it nice?
I have not bought meat. I don't buy meat.
Do you feel better when you eat that meat?
100%.
Really do, right?
No joke.
Yeah.
No joke.
So good for you.
It's so good. I love it. What's the ones in the camouflage tubes?
Tubes. That's ground beef.
It's
Ground elk.
That's ground
Yeah.
elk. Is it
That
is
stuff-
it different from any of the others? Because it's
No, it's usually it's a tougher cut, like shoulder meat,
Uh-huh.
and they ground it up to make hamburger. It is sensational with eggs. You know what I like to do with it? I like to I take some butter, put it in a pan, and I take the ground elk and I put some garlic salt on the ground elk and just kind of like get it browned.
Yeah.
And then I push it to the side and crack a bunch of eggs in there too. And I have like 4 eggs. And either I mix it all up together, which sometimes I do. I make like a scramble, or I just get the eggs sunny side up, push them to the side, and then put the ground elk on a pile on the plate, and then mix it in with the yolks and everything.
Oh, nice! You just lit me up.
Woo! And then
so
you get
good.
a little piece of that bread.
A little, and put that French butter on it.
Oh,
Come on
Jesus.
now, that's living.
So we're gonna eat tonight at Red Ash. I organized a comedians dinner.
Nice.
Ron White, Eric Griffin,
Nice.
everybody. Tony, Red Band, Adam. Adam's going to be here with that, too.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have some fun tonight.
Oh, that's great.
Red Ash is a great place in town. They have like a real fire, like wood fire grilled steaks where they have the thing like the Argentine-style grill. It cranks.
Oh, really?
Raises up and lowers. They have handmade pasta there, too.
I think I want steak.
Yeah, that, too.
Yeah.
Both.
You
Both
can have
those
all
things.
of it.
Both of those things. All right, we should wrap this up because I got
I don't want to.
Get out of here.
What do you got to do?
Come on, man. Don't you
I don't want to go.
want to do other things as well?
No.
No.
Nope. I just want to keep doing this until dinner.
When are you working again? Out here.
Out here in Austin.
You have any gigs?
Yeah, I'm doing the was it the Capitol? What's the theater here?
Paramount.
Paramount's
great. It's at like a third capacity now. I think they may have upped it up a little bit.
I think I'm doing it in the winter.
It's a great place.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I've done
theater.
it once before.
Beautiful theater.
Dude, they put on my website all of my dates on the map. Like I have like all the little pins.
There it is.
Look at all those dates.
Look at you, you fucking animal.
Oh, I hate.
that
I don't
road.
like seeing that.
Why?
I don't because I'm gonna go to all those places
Does it
between
give you
now and
anxiety?
December.
Does it give you anxiety? You're
Yeah.
going to Modesto, California. You don't give a fuck, dude.
I go
You
everywhere.
get out there. St. Paul, Minnesota. What?
Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yeah.
The Wynn in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm so. This makes.
What's the
does make me
Encore
happy.
Theater at the Wynn? I've never done that.
Yeah, the Wynn. It's my first time there. July 30th.
I always usually do the Mirage.
The Mirage.
When I I love
yeah,
that place.
a lot of
It's
comics
not that
do
big,
that.
but it's like really perfectly set up.
Yeah.
That's the Terry Fedor Theater, the guy who
Oh,
won,
yeah.
what is it, America's Got Talent?
Is
or
he
some
still
shit?
going?
I don't know. I saw him there. I took my family to see him there because it's like a family-friendly show. You can see little kids can come and watch.
Oh, that's cool. Have you
Yeah.
seen Hacks on HBO?
No, what is that?
It's good. I've only seen a couple episodes, but Gene Smart plays a Joan Rivers, Rita Rudner kind of
Oh,
a
it's about
comedian.
comedy?
Yeah. She
Oh.
plays a Vegas comic, a legend Vegas comic who's trying to hang on, and this young hipster comedian comes in to help her write. And it's the two generations of comedy. Like the young comic gives her these jokes. She's like, these aren't jokes. There's no punchlines. And it's such a good look at comedy.
Oh, this is new?
Yeah, it's new. She's so good. She's really.
How come God damn it, there's so much on television that I
I
haven't
know.
fucking seen it.
I know, and I don't
God,
see.
she looks a little like Joan Rivers.
I don't see anything, and I was able to see a couple of these. Really well done.
No shit.
She's amazing, and it just it's obviously written by comics because the stuff about the different generations of what comedy is and trying to kill, like we were talking about, like that Bernie Mac kind of a thing,
Yeah.
and the new kind of hipster floating around. This is in the world of kind of funny. It's a pretty good look at it.
It's crazy when a show could be really good and you never heard of it. How many shows are out there?
Dude, I know.
There's so
Everyone's
many
talking about
shows.
the mayor of Easttown or whatever that is.
Yeah, I've heard that's great.
I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. I've
Yeah.
never seen a thing.
Yeah,
Didn't
I've
even
heard
know
that's
what
really
it was.
good.
I thought it was the mayor, like
No.
Mayor.
M-A-R-E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so much
Supposed to
shit
be
out
awesome.
there.
My
Yeah.
friend John Dudley told me it's the shit.
Yeah.
All right, really, I got to pee really hard, and I got to wrap
All
this
right.
up. Tommy motherfucking Papa.
Wow, wow, wow.
You can find him on the Instagram is the only thing he reads. So talk shit about him there.
No, don't ruin that for me.
No. Tom Papa on Instagram. Come to Papa. His podcast and the other podcast.
The Breaking Bread podcast.
Yeah, and
Duncan Trussell's on this week.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
You guys made bread together?
No, we did it remote because he's far away.
That's right.
I
He's
just
living
love
in the
him so
mountains
much.
with the hillbillies and the mushrooms.
He's so great.
He's the best.
But yeah, tompapa.com for everything.
Okay. Bye, everybody.